If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description. Additionally, if you would like to request novels and access my Google Drive where I have 200 plus audiobooks, then you can join my Patreon. Link is also provided in the description.
Chapter 221, Eternal Night Royal Family Gathering. Yes, Yulong. You're going. No, you must become this world's savior. A complete silence struck the throne room as Yulong casually stood there, unfazed by Yeshu's words. His expression shows nothing but complete calmness. Yulong gazed at Yeshu and chuckled, the world's savior? That sounds funny to me. After all, Yulong has saved the world once. And now someone told him he must save another. The life of a savior is painful and filled with loneliness. If Yulong or Kurogami Hayate didn't have loving companions on his lone wolf journey, he might have become a completely different person. He hoped that would never happen. After thinking about it briefly, Yulong gazed at them and smiled, sorry, but I refuse. What? Yeshu and the other rulers were speechless. Aren't youth supposed to be hot-blooded and enthusiastic? Who wouldn't accept such a role to be a savior? Well, Yulong did. Yulong shook his head gently and questioned this instead, what's good about becoming a savior? I can't live peacefully because the fate of this world will be on my fucking shoulders. I have so many women on my hands already. Do you think I have enough time to be a savior? Yeshu and other rulers' mouths twitched in disbelief. So you think women are more important than the world? A feminine voice retorted. Yulong, you can't be like this. Please think of the bigger picture. Yulong gazed at the fifth throne and spotted a dignified-looking woman wearing a blue imperial dress. She has long yet silky black hair and deep purple eyes. And you're? Yulong acts carefreely. The woman in blue smiled, my title is the Sea Queen, but you can refer to me as Yeshinai or Ancestor Shenji. Well, you see, Ancestor Shinai. Yulong crossed his arms imposingly. Not any woman is more important than the world. My woman is more important than the world. His voice boomed in the room. Feng Shui and Yuan froze on the spot. Big brother. Master. They looked at Yulong and couldn't help but feel touched. Their eyes moistened slightly. Even though Yulong hasn't taken them, they have opened their hearts for him. Yuan has been on Yulong's side for years, while Feng Shui finally bloomed her feelings at this very moment. But do you have the power to do so? Another ruler asked. Yulong couldn't see the appearance, but it was the sixth ruler. Again, you're? Yulong couldn't help but ask. These predecessors are just spouting nonsense without introducing themselves. Actually, fuck it. Can you guys introduce yourself one by one? Yulong could see their mouths visibly twitching. Of course, the seventh ruler is different, as his golden eyes twitched under that hood. We can skip Ancestor Shiu and Ancestor Shinai. Oh, Grandpa Sanshin also. That's rude. Su Sanshin complained and swayed his fist at him. Don't you want to know your grandpa's awesome title? Yulong ignored Su Sanshin and stared at the second throne, please. The one who sits on the second throne is a woman in a loose sleeping robe. She had messy silver hair but still looked beautiful with those piercing ruby eyes and femme fatale face. Yawn. Sleepy Queen, Yezuking. Unless you want to discuss a raise, don't wake me up. After saying that, she fell asleep on her throne. Well, that's an interesting start. Yulong thought to himself. Shortly after, a calm-looking man appeared on the third throne and lit a tobacco to smoke. He wears a thin bathing robe and short black pants, showing no traits of nobility. Well, his eyes are dim golden. Medicine King, Yazai. He smoked his tobacco. Nice to meet you, little dragon. I heard you are very skilled in alchemy and medicine. Let's talk some more later. You should really stop smoking, Pop. It's not good for your health. The fourth ruler sighed. It was a muscular woman in a tight yukata, wearing a head jewel instead of a crown. Even though the fourth ruler isn't that attractive, she has this warm aura around her. Yup, something anyone wouldn't expect from a devil's bloodline inheritor. The fourth ruler glanced at Yulong and smiled, Queen of Combat, Yezunyar. I hope you consider becoming the savior, Yulong. It means a lot to our lineage. Yulong shrugged, let's not talk about that for now. Sixth ancestor, please. Sitting on the sixth throne is actually a young lady in a white dress. She styled her brown hair in twin tails and had nervous green eyes, which made her look very meek. Wronger, you're making his meeting longer than it should. Also, you're the one who questioned him earlier. Ancestor Shania called her out gently. Sorry. The sixth ruler covered her face with her hands. You shouldn't respond to me. Yes, mother. Ancestor Shania facepalmed and sighed helplessly, I don't know what to do with you. The sixth ruler looked at Yulong and stuttered, SS Serpent Queen, Yawan wrong. Well. The seventh ruler had a goofy smile on his face. He's a middle-aged man with a muscular build and a majestic-looking white beard. My title is Mountain King. As for the name, it's Yetianese. I'm your great-grandfather, Yulong. I know, literally 8 of you are related to me. Yulong said as a matter of fact. I can't comment on that. Yetianese and the previous rulers shook their heads. Me next. Yulong, I'm next. Su Sanshan stubbornly raised his arm. Go on. Yulong couldn't do anything with this grandpa of his. Su Shanshan, or what we should call Yesanshan, smugly lifted his nose and introduced himself. Remember your grandpa's title well, Yulong. My title is King of Iron Blood. Very cool, isn't it? Yulong stared at the empty 9th throne and commented, so, I assume that throne is for my mother. Yes. Yesanshan nodded his head. We haven't decided on a title yet, and I didn't want to drag her into this side of the world previously. Well, it was too late now. I can't blame her for birthing a heavenly demon like you. You know you're calling your grandson a demon, right? Yulong snorted at him. Because you're one, Yulong. But wouldn't that make you a greater demon? That is. Damn it, you're playing rhetorical questions on me. Yulong chuckled, I didn't. But we probably should call my mother in this conversation. She's part of the Eternal Night royal family and the 9th generation ruler, though my grandpa oversaw everything until now. The ancestors glanced at each other before nodding their heads. Yeshu created a portal on the 9th throne, very well, little Xin is indeed part of our family, and she deserved to know more about the truth. After a few seconds, everyone could see Xin entering the throne room with a puzzled look. She has an unfinished cup of tea in her right hand. This. Where am I? She murmured in confusion. Father. Yulong. What are you guys doing here? Yeshu coughed and explained, little Xin, you're currently inside the Eternal Night royal family's ancestral clan. I'm summoning here through our bloodline link and discussing Yulong's future. Please sit down on your throne. My throne. Xin glanced at the grandiose-looking rock throne behind her. Also, what do you mean by Yulong's future, heir? I'm Ancestor Yeshu. Ancestor, what do you mean by discussing Yulong's future? She huffed slightly. Yulong is an adult. He has matured enough to decide everything on his own. On top of that, I don't think we need to lecture him about anything except for living a good life. Do you even know just how hard he had been to himself? My daughter-in-law has sent me several letters, saying Yulong barely rested due to constant work. But the world is at stake. Yeshu emphasized again. We could only rely on Yulong to solve it. Well, Yulong must marry first and give me grandbabies to hold. Xin countered casually. Everyone. Xin peeked at the beautiful girl beside Yulong, which caused her eyes to light up like a light bulb. Oh, my. Are you perhaps Feng Shuier? Why yes, ma'am. Feng Shuier was nervous. She didn't expect to meet Yulong's mother this soon. Xin waved her hand, don't be too formal. You can call me a mother or mother-in-law, though I prefer the former. Then, mother. Feng Shuier incited a motherly feeling in Xin. Such a nice girl. Xin nodded in satisfaction. Yulong, marry her. Yulong. Chapter 222, The Truth of the 1000 Years Plan. Marry her. Yulong was helpless at this mother of his. She'd do anything to pair him with a suitable daughter-in-law and even taught Xia Qingyu and Kang Yu some of her skills. Be big brother. Feng Shuier was flustered. Yulong patted the Phoenix Princess and replied calmly, Mother, let's not talk about that now. Don't you see the ancestors are watching with weird expressions on their faces? Oh? My bad. Xin gave everyone a sorry look and even lowered her head. Yeshu sighed, no, you're right, little Xin. Yulong is an adult and can decide on his own. However, we truly need to rely on him this time. A great evil is about to descend on the primal Chao dimension. Something that our era can't handle because we lack manpower like the god and devil race. The ruler's expression changed when Yeshu mentioned the great evil, and Yulong's curiosity was piqued. Just what is this great evil? It would be faster if I showed it to you. Yeshu snapped his finger and created a holographic projection. On a vast space, a crimson portal appeared, and gnarly sounds echoed from it. It sounds like a beating heart, but it is more disgusting because they can hear bone creaking and meat sloshing noise after it. A veiny red finger suddenly clawed out of the portal, breaking space and time rapidly with its appearance alone. A swirl energy of destruction formed on the finger's tip and spread across the space. A supernova blasted everything. Boom! The surrounding star realms exploded one after another, leaving nothing but scattered cosmic dust. Yulong frowned slightly. When did this happen? Yeshu gazed at him calmly and answered, exactly 7 years into the future. A foreign force invaded the primal chaos dimension through different tunnels and razzied everything they set their eyes on. What you saw earlier is the first appearance of them. They don't have a name, but we called them Azura race. It would be fine if their strength is only at the peak of 7 divine realms. The problem is their leader's strength. That monster of a being is a true god. Yeshu balled his hand into a trembling fist. True god. Yun's eyes blinked while gazing at the projection and then her master. Yulong crossed his arms. How did you know all of this? Although future sight is rare, I know some people can use them, but yours is different, ancestor Shu. You're not partially a devil. You're the devil. Am I right? Yeshu bitterly laughed, that's all of the past. Phoenix, your sense never ceases to surprise me. Are you really the Nirvana Devil Emperor? Yun warily narrowed her eyes at Yeshu. I was the Nirvana Devil Emperor. Yeshu didn't bother to hide it anymore. After the calamity hit us, I discarded my body and chose to use true nirvana on myself. Who would have thought I'd get reincarnated into a young man named Yeshu, who is part of the eternal Night Royal family? But my reincarnation also comes with problems. My soul is weakening as time passes, and I couldn't break past the sovereign profound realm because of it. As if I got cursed. That's why I followed my father's plan in order to cultivate the strongest warrior. I admit, I didn't do it purely to avenge the eternal Night Royal family from the evil act of 4 great sacred grounds. That's just a side goal while the true motive is to save the world. This is the truth of our 1000 years plan. Yulong lifted his hand and commented, so, I have primordial devil's bloodline in my veins, hey. That explains a lot of things. No, you don't have primordial devil's bloodline in your veins. It is still that of the eternal Night Devil clan's bloodline. Yeshu cut him off. However, I did modify the physique of my descendant. I make your physique compatible with any bloodline and legacy. On top of that, the physique would stockpile to the latter generations, again and again. I didn't know how you did it, but Little Shan did tell us that you broke the limitation of mortals a long time ago. He has Yulong an interested look. What limitation? Yulong tilted his head in confusion. Yeshu smiled and replied, the curse. Like the physique, my descendant also inherited my curse, albeit weaker. And you don't have such a curse. Your physique has transcended mortality. Yulong thought about it first and uttered, maybe it has something to do with the great way of the Buddha. I broke into the 6th realm and nearly entered the 7th realm. You what? Yeshu stood up from his throne. How did you get your hand on Rage God's legacy? That nosy guy wouldn't give such a thing for free. His profound art is instilled with his belief and will. This is not good. Yeshu worriedly appeared before Yulong and grabbed his arms to check his profound veins. After a while, he had a bizarre expression on his face. He detected too many things in his descendant's body. And some, he can't even explain with words. This is. What is this physique? What have you done to reach this transcendent? Yulong, you're not human. Yulong pulled his wrist back and returned indifferently, it's my secret. So, do you find your answers? Yeshu stared into Yulong's golden eyes and sighed, you're at Divine Soul Realm already. I didn't expect you to reach this stage so quickly. Also, your body is nothing short of a miracle. Not to mention your profound veins. I have never seen such a thing in the primordial era of gods. If you keep advancing, reaching the true god realm in 7 years isn't far-fetched. The only problem is cultivation resources, but I can do something about that later. I felt at ease. He suddenly covered his eyes and laughed. Haha, those Azure race won't see this coming. The other rulers are interested to know what secret Yulong had. Of course, in a positive way. Yulong is tired of their anxiousness and says, Ancestor Shu. What about a spar? A spar? Yeshu squinted his eyes. Yulong nodded, yes, a spar. Let's say if I win, I won't become this world's savior. What if I win? Then, I will follow your arrangement. What do you think, fellow rulers? Yeshu glanced back at the 8 rulers on their thrones. Approve. The sleepy queen yawned. Approve. The medicine king nodded. Approve. The queen of combat wanted to see how strong Yulong was. Approve. The sea queen smirked in anticipation. Approve. The snake queen nervously looked at Yulong. Approve. The mountain king firmly responded. Disapprove. Surprisingly, Yesanshan disagrees with this sudden spar. Me too, I disapprove. Uxin followed. What, you don't want to see Yulong lose? The sea queen couldn't help but tease the father and daughter. Yesanshan met with her eyes and chuckled, no, you get us wrong, Ancestor Shinai. I disapprove of this spar because it would be a pointless fight. You're just giving Yulong his way out of here. Yulong is not going to lose. Uxin giggled. I know my son well. He wouldn't do something he wasn't confident of. I just don't want to see Ancestor Shu lose his face. He is, after all, our ancestor. Yulong dear, don't beat your ancestor too much. Got it, Mom. Yulong responded with a small smile. He stretched on the spots and left everyone speechless. Ancestor Shu and the 7 rulers. What is wrong with their descendants? Unknown to the ancestors, Yulong is more than a monster. He's the king of monsters. I don't know why they are so confident about your strength, Yulong, but I will be the judge of that. Yeshu transformed the throne room into a grand coliseum and stood in the arena with Yulong. Yulong skipped a few times and loosened his arms. Anytime, Ancestor Shu. Do you need to count? Yeshu's eyes burned with fighting spirit. No, let's fight right away. Yulong grinned at him. Chapter 223, A Friendly Spar Against Ancestor Yeshu, 1. Yulong and Yesya faced each other in the arena. Everyone watched this from the podium and was curious to see the winner of this spar. To them, both sides are formidable figures. Yulin glanced at the rulers and asked, a question. Do you guys know what happened in the outside world? The sleepy queen yawned, what is interesting about the outside world? It is chaotic and filled with annoyance. No. Added the medicine king while smoking his tobacco. We have been hiding in the ancestral land and accumulated power here for centuries. So, you guys don't know my master's fighting prowess and achievement, I see. Yulin finally realized these people were ignorant of her master's ability. Sea Queen pulled a paper fan and waved it gently. Well, we did know a few things about Yulong. Little Shan reported it to us once a month. However, from your tone, I assume there are few things that Little Shan doesn't know. What? Did we miss something? She glanced at Yulin. Phoenix, I don't know how Yulong turned you into his servant, but you're still a wisp of wool. On the other hand, Ancestor Shu is the reincarnation of Nirvana Devil Emperor, the strongest being from the primordial age of gods. Phew, you have no idea. Yulin suddenly smirked. No wonder you guys are so persistent. But it's fine. I will let you guys laugh for now. Tisk, frogs at the bottom of the well. You guys don't know my master's greatness. Yesanshan scratched his cheek and added helplessly, I have reported everything I know about Yulong. But I knew that he barely showed the surface of his ability. If he wanted to hide his secret, I couldn't do anything about it. At 12, he's already stronger than me. The rulers. Feng Shuai balled her hand into a fist and cheered, Go, big brother. Meanwhile, Uxin nodded and thought, ah, such a cute daughter-in-law. She cheered on his husband already. Yeshu and Yulong could listen to the discussion above. A weak smile plastered their faces. Phoenix is really confident in you, hey. Yeshu commented casually. Yulong shrugged, Yulin can be quite clingy, but that's because I saved her life. Well, I'm going to make the first move. Yulong suddenly skipped and arrived before Yeshu's face, giving him a roundhouse kick. Yeshu's eyes widened because he couldn't detect a spatial disturbance in the area, which means that was Yulong's pure speed. He wanted to dodge, but he couldn't. The roundhouse kick created a howling sound and hit his left arm like a whip. Bam! So heavy! Yeshu thought as he went flying into the wall. Boom! Graves and sands are flying everywhere. Gasp! A surprise gasp escaped the rulers' mouths because they didn't expect their ancestors to get sent flying like that. Just how forceful that kick is! Well, that was a surprise. Yeshu jumped out of the hole. He lifted his left arm and watched it tremble slightly. That kick was unbelievably dangerous and packed with extreme physical strength. A normal sovereign profound realm would get snapped in half by that roundhouse kick. However, Yeshu didn't think much of it. Yulong cultivated the great way of the Buddha, so his physique isn't the level of a human anymore. He's a saint, someone who transcends the mortal realm. Yeshu breathed in and entered a stance, which placed his arms and legs in a parallel position. Yulong raised his brows. That stance? Oh, this. Yeshu smiled. I invented it myself because I had to find a way of becoming stronger besides cultivating. Don't think I'm weak because I'm only a sovereign profound realm, Yulong. I have mastered martial arts to the extreme and devised a secret art that would revolutionize the primal chaos dimension. Is that so? Let's give it a test, then. Yulong arrived before Yeshu again. Nirvana subduing art, tiger and dragon claws. Yeshu's eyes locked on Yulong's silhouette and immediately made a move. Unfortunately, Yulong's silhouette turned out to be an afterimage. Yeshu attacked the afterimage and said in awe, what a movement skill! But a mere afterimage isn't enough to fool me. Although Yeshu's first attack is a miss, his second attack wouldn't. Bam! Yeshu swiped his right arm in a circular motion and met with Yulong's sneak attack from behind. Roar! The might of dragon and tiger appears, which causes Yulong's sneaky punch to lose slightly. Yulong rotated his hips slightly and added more force to his punch. Boom! They quickly separated, creating a howling tornado in the arena. Yeshu landed on his foot and furrowed his brows. You manipulate your lower body to add more stability and rotation into that punch. Impressive. Nothing fancy, but firmly basic. Aren't you the same, Ancestor Shu? Yulong laughed, trying to be humble. Even though he wasn't serious in this spar, Ancestor Shu has shown him a bit of surprise in the last few minutes. That is just one martial technique, yet it can enhance his sovereign profound realm strength by one minor realm. From the look of it, Ancestor Shu used a targeted breathing technique and manipulated his blood flow. Nirvana subduing art, hey? Not bad. Yulong thought to himself. Hehe, I'd be damned if I couldn't do anything after 1,000 years of planning. Yeshu giggled like a child. They gazed at each other and grinned. Swoosh! Nirvana subduing art, Heavenly King's force. Normal punch. Yulong and Yeshu jumped and clashed in the air. Their fists met, and a sonic boom followed. Boom! They retreated from each other again, crashing against the walls. Yeshu was the first to appear. Yeshu's hair stood up as violent energy and electricity came out from his body, forming a heavenly golden aura. Meanwhile, Yulong gently landed on the wall and stuck on it. He looked very ordinary, and his black hair swayed gently. The contrast between the two made the observers raise their brows, especially the rulers. I don't feel a thing. Not even a shred of profound energy. How did this kid do it? What a monster! As they were talking, Yulong and Yeshu kept exchanging blows. One punch for another. One kick for another. Everything seemed fast-paced and hard to see because their movement speed was too fast for the naked eye. Even Yuan had a hard time despite having divine senses. More so for Feng Shuier, as she could only see flashing lights. Bubbles appeared in the air, spreading as the fight went on. Bam! Nirvana subduing art, Heavenly King's tyrant fist. Yeshu roared and punched Yulong with 100% of his strength. Oh! Yulong felt something upon meeting with Yeshu's fist. This technique actually tore his skin and pulverized it. Not only that, but Yulong also felt an abrupt gravitation shift around the fist and sent him crashing into the wall. Boom! Yulong observed his bleeding right arm. That fist is so heavy that it has a gravitation pull. Above all else, Ancestor Shu reversed that devouring force and used it to increase his punching force. He also this weird energy that eat target's body. He stood up and brushed the dust from his clothes. His right arm healed instantly. Rage God's technique is indeed annoying. Yeshu commented with a wry smile. Even that attack of mine could only tear your skin. And look, your skin healed already. So, you're admitting that this was your loss. Yulong couldn't help but tease. Yeshu was baffled. He coughed, when did I say that? I'm just saying that the great way of the Buddha is annoying. I will win this spar and make you learn under our banner. The world needs you, Yulong. This time, I will be more serious. Yeshu patted his chest. After that, a frightening aura exploded from Yeshu's body and formed a manifestation of an armored general. Nirvana subduing art, Heavenly King's descent. Yeshu's body appeared more muscular instantly. His strength also increased by 3 major realms. Here we go. Swoosh. Yeshu appeared above Yulong, Nirvana subduing art, Heavenly press. Boom. The Colosseum shook violently. Chapter 224, A Friendly Spar Against Ancestor Yeshu, 2. Heavenly Stomp. Yeshu roared, creating a manifestation of a diving eagle. Boom. The Colosseum shook violently. Everyone looked down nervously, expecting Yulong to get injured from such an attack. However, reality is often disappointing. Yulong grabbed Yeshu's foot, and the force behind his martial technique got distributed into the building instead, which left no scratch on himself. Impossible. Everyone couldn't believe their eyes. Shock absorption and distribution, pretty neat ability, right? Yulong smiled carefreely. With it, nearly all physical attacks are rendered useless. You should start using your profound energy, Ancestor Shu. Although profound energy carries shock, it is still an energy that could affect me. Here, I will give a demonstration. Yulong pulled Yeshu down and struck his stomach with a palm, causing his energy to slip in. A small revolving sphere hit the stomach and razzied the skin. Energy blast. Boom. Yeshu felt a warm sensation in his stomach and experienced a powerful explosion. He groaned and got sent flying like a broken kite. He landed on the other side of the Colosseum and hissed, that energy ball rotated, rupturing some of my muscle tissues. Another basic, but only effective when your energy's concentration is higher than the target. Yulong. You haven't used any profound energy all this time. But I finally noticed your profound energy is many times stronger than those gods and devils in the primordial era of gods. Just what kind of profound arts have you cultivated? Nothing special, really. Yulong jumped out of the hole in the wall. I created my own profound arts and have been improving it as I grew my profound path. You created your own profound arts? Yeshu and the rulers couldn't believe their ears. No, Yesanshan actually has reported to them that Yulong has invented some profound arts and a new field of profound paths. Nevertheless, they didn't take it seriously because what kind of miracles could a kid create? They even laughed at Yesanshan, thinking Yulong was piecing things into a book, and called it a new profound art. After all, the profound knowledge of the profound sky continent is limited. How? Someone from the podium uttered. It was Sea Queen. How? Yulong glanced ahead. Just observe nature and pile it into a book before taking its essence into physical application. Isn't that how profound arts got created? For example, the world Ode of the Phoenix was literally created based on the majesty of the Phoenix god. The same goes for the Great Way of the Buddha, which refers to one's stillness and belief in the physical body. The stronger one believes in profound path, the stronger one could be. They knew what Yulong meant, but they couldn't wrap their head around the fact Yulong was only 16. It would be more believable if Yulong were a reincarnation of a powerful being like Yeshu, but he isn't. Yulong is a kid who just reached adulthood. He's many centuries younger than all of them. A genius is not enough to describe Yulong's oddity. Yulong smiled at their baffled looks and added casually, I created my own profound arts because there are no existing profound arts that could meet my standard. Everything is lousy with no foundation and depth. The first legit profound art I found interesting is the World Ode of the Phoenix. Even then, it was incomplete. You guys don't know how annoying incompletely profound art can be, so I have to modify it for my subordinates. Now they could cultivate it without the rich concentration of Phoenix's bloodline. Master is telling the truth, Yuan suddenly said. At the time, I only held the 5th and 6th stages of the World Ode of the Phoenix, yet he successfully modified them into a brand new profound art that still possesses the essence of Phoenix. He called it Phoenix Aspect. Phoenix Aspect. Yeshua and the rulers mumbled. How could a young man like you achieve all this? Another person spouted in shock. It was the Serpent Queen. That's just the same question with a different twist. Yu Long couldn't help but chuckle. But it's all right, I will answer it for you. Everything in the world is naturally formed by a set of rules. I called it the law of universe, and the law of universe possessed still patterns, which I could comprehend and put together into aspects. For example, what is the foundation of fire? It's not just the miraculous appearance of thin air, you know. It started with combustible material, oxygen, and heat met. We can use profound energy as a combustible material, and oxygen is plenty in the surroundings. The next thing you need is friction. Yu Long snapped his finger and created a spark that combusted a momentary flame. The more energy and oxygen you added, the stronger the fire. He stretched his left arm and aimed at the Colosseum's wall. A ball of flame appeared, revolving with red, orange, yellow, white, and then blue. Swoosh! The ball of blue flame is small, barely the size of a pinky finger, and met with the wall. Kaboom! A devastating explosion shook the Colosseum. Everyone's jaws dropped. Feng Shuier clapped, Big Brother is amazing. Yeshu watched the melting Colosseum's wall with a disturbed gaze. Yeshu has manipulated this ancestral land with nirvana, changing space, time, and dimension. Yet the ball of flame earlier burned his creation. Even now, he could still feel the terrifying law of fire from the scattering blue flames. With my current state, I don't think I can take that fireball head-on. He truthfully thought. I'd get burned to a crisp. In the past, the Nirvana Devil Emperor wouldn't bat an eye at Yu Long's display of fire law. However, having a point of view as a human changed the Nirvana Devil Emperor's perception. He also realized how shallow he could be. However, he still has to show some dignity. Yeshu cleared his sore throat awkwardly, Ahem. We can discuss this later. Let's finish the spar first. What do you think of ending it within one move, Yu Long? One move it is. Yu Long doesn't have a problem with it. Yeshu sighed in relief inwardly and added, also, I want to face one of your most powerful profound skills. Yu Long raised his brow, are you sure? It can be a little dangerous. Show me. Yeshu's body released an intense aura. Okay, chill. Ancestor Shu, everything can be settled. Yu Long knew Yeshu wanted to save himself from embarrassment. Well, I couldn't perform too poorly then. He breathed in and prepared to use the big gun. Art of Ghost, Ghost Emperor's Spear. Infinite darkness suddenly burst from the bottom of Yu Long's foot and swept the Colosseum like a violent tide. Everyone could feel coldness in their skin and tremble because of it. The darkness moved and gathered in Yu Long's left hand, condensing into a 3-meter-long spear with purple carvings. The spear's tip gleamed with a gloomy aura. It made Yeshu, the reincarnated Nirvana Devil Emperor, nervous. What the fuck is that? Yeshu's eyes widened in disbelief. Ancestor Shu, prepare yourself. Yu Long breathed out and entered a stance while gripping his spear tightly. Art of Ghost, God-killing spear. Yu Long moved and swung the dark spear forcibly, creating a whistling sound in the area. There is no fancy explosion, but everyone can see Yu Long tearing the fabric of space with his spear strike. Kid, are you trying to kill me? Yeshu was speechless. Yeshu hurriedly used the power of Nirvana and conjured several shields before him. Still, Yu Long's spear pierced through all these shields and missed Yeshu's neck by thin hair difference. Swoosh! Boom! As the dark spear stopped, a shockwave swept the Colosseum and wiped everything. Yeshu stood still. No, he couldn't move, to be exact. After all, he narrowly escaped death just now. Hee, this spar. It's my win. Yu Long chuckled while smiling at him. Why yet? Yeshu regained his senses and slowly glanced back in horror. It's your win. Behind Yeshu, the Colosseum wall no longer exists. All Yeshu could see was a massive hole in space, revealing a dark and bottomless void. Chapter 225, The Most Mind-Numbing Descendant, Alternative Choice. Yu Long casually whistled as he repaired the damage achieved on the ancestral land with space and time aspects. Welp, he didn't expect the fabric of space and time here to be this fragile. No, maybe Yu Long was overestimating his ancestor. All done. Yu Long said while turning around. Yeshu is still standing with a blank look on his face. Someone, give Ancestor Shu an ice pack or something. Yu Long joked, which caused a few people to chuckle. Yuan giggled on the podium and commented, you shouldn't tease your ancestor like that, master. Just look at him, You could fit an elephant in his open mouth. Still, he probably didn't expect his descendant to be this broken. Your power exceeds the common sense that even the primordial devil had. Aren't you the same? Yulong rolled his eyes. Yuan flashed a proud smile and placed her hands on her hips. I'm used to it already. I'm not used to it. But I know that my son is awesome. Uxin followed with a smile. Don't you think so, father? Yet. Yesanshan doesn't have much to comment on. When Yulong pulled Star Annihilating Cannon a while ago, he was fully convinced that his grandson was an irregular existence. Seeing Yulong defeat Ancestor Xiu further solidifies Yesanshan's view of his grandson's strength. Feng Shue'er stared at Yulong with glittering eyes. After all, her fiancé is much stronger than she expected. At first, Feng Shue'er thought Yulong was at the top of the profound Sky Continent's pyramid after defeating Pandora, but it seems her view is still too shallow. Not to mention, this gave the Phoenix Princess a sense of crisis. Even though Feng Shue'er doesn't know how powerful Xia Qingyu and Kang Yu are, their strength is definitely above her. Not only were they more powerful than her, but they also knew her big brother Yulong longer. I must catch up to my seniors, said the innocent princess with a burning fighting spirit. Meanwhile, the most shocked groups are none other than the remaining ancestors. Just what is he? The sleepy queen wasn't sleepy anymore. His strength is abnormal. He destroyed space and time, then created a void. The Medicine King rubbed his chin in awe. The word monster isn't enough to describe his ridiculousness. The Queen of Combat added. No wonder he refused our attempt to make him the savior. The Sea Queen sighed in helplessness. Why yes, although his strength isn't at the true god realm yet, he'd reach it sooner or later. It's just a matter of a year or two. The Serpent Queen stuttered. This is my great-grandson. Geez, I didn't expect my genes to be this strong. At last, Mountain King couldn't help but feel the younger generation surpassed them too quickly. Yeshu finally regained his composure and sighed, that was scary. That was really scary, I could have died. I thought you were dead. Yulong approached Yeshu. Yeshu shook his head gently, I'm not. No, to be precise, we didn't have a physical body. Snap. Yeshu snapped his finger and returned the throne room to its original appearance. He sat on his throne and added, when strongest warrior's descendant died, their soul didn't wander to the destroyed well of samsara and went to the ancestral land instead. I make it that way with nirvana, so we could gather enough power here to cultivate the strongest warrior, a savior. Funny enough, you don't need that energy as you're strong enough already. Yulong, you're really the best of us. I won't ask much, but can you explain how profound aspects work? I believe that the last spear attack involved 3 elements, right? Space, time, and darkness. Can you give me a seat? It will be a long explanation. Yulong replied with a smile. Sure. You deserve one anyway. Yeshu laughed wryly. He snapped his finger and created a throne for Yulong. It was 7 meters tall and made of unknown white rocks with humble yet beautiful carvings. Oh, yeah. Make 2 more for Yuan and Shue'er. Yulong added. Yeshu's mouth twitched slightly, you should have told me earlier, but whatever. Snap. 2 more thrones appeared, albeit less good-looking and smaller than Yulong's throne. Sit. Yeshu stared at Yuan and Feng Shue'er. Even then, Yuan and Feng Shue'er didn't listen to Yeshu and waited for Yulong to sit first. After Yulong sat down, they finally followed along. Good girls. Uxin nodded in satisfaction. Yeshu and other ancestors. Yulong leaned on the throne and said, not bad. Ancestor Xiu actually added temperature adjustment on the throne. It makes sitting for a long time feel much better. No wonder Ancestor Zuking could sleep on her throne. Well. That was Zuking's advice. Yeshu honestly responded. She gave me ideas for making things more comfortable. Zuking's mindset is unique and creative. Yawn. Nothing special, but can we continue the topic of profound aspects already? I'm curious how Yulong did it. The sleepy queen complained. Yulong chuckled amusingly and started explaining more about profound aspects. He even told them about profound incarnations, which could only appear in the real world upon a certain mastery of profound arts/aspects. The ancestors were shocked. Yulong really opened a new world to them. He's not just a glitch in the matrix but also a pioneer. In the end, the ancestors could only sigh collectively. They lost this time against a young man who hadn't reached 20 years old yet. Ashamed is the understatement of their feelings. What should we do then? The Medicine King raised a question. I think all of our efforts were literally wasted. If Yulong is already this strong, there is no point in the strongest warrior plan anymore. Yulong glanced at the Medicine King and commented, does it have to be someone from our bloodline? Obviously. The Sea Queen replied. Without our special physique and bloodline, the energy we accumulated is unusable. No, I mean. What if we used someone from a similar branch? Someone with a similar bloodline and malleable physique. For example, the first prince of the Eternal Night royal family. Yulong smirked at them. Yeshu frowned, are you talking about Ye Huang? I'm afraid he already passed away when the four great sacred grounds attacked the Eternal Night royal family. No, he is still alive. Yulong rebuked. What do you mean? Yeshu and the ancestors were confused. Yulong raised his index finger and continued, what if I told you the first prince, Ye Huang, is still alive? No, he got reincarnated into a young man of this era. That can't be. Yeshu mumbled. Even though the Eternal Night royal family has such a technique, the success rate is less than 0,0001%. Also, the target's soul may get injured permanently. Just like me. Exactly, he doesn't remember his past life at all. He was integrated into his second life, becoming a young man named Fen Jueshan. Wait, that brat is the first prince's reincarnation. Yesanshan was speechless. I knew it. Something about Fen Jueshan felt familiar. Sanshan, you know the boy? Mountain King questioned. Yesanshan responded with an excited laugh, of course. I was the one who trained Fen Jueshan for a couple of months after Yulong left him in the Lost Heaven sect. I didn't expect him to be our family member, the first prince. If that's true, we can turn him into the strongest warrior. The Queen of Combat crossed her arms. He might not be as strong as Yulong, but nothing hurt with this alternative plan. I agree. The Serpent Queen nodded frantically. Yulong, you. Meanwhile, Uxin gazed at Yulong with a realization. Yulong glanced at his mother and winked, don't worry. I won't let Mei go through hardship. Technically speaking, Yu Mei, Yulong's younger sister, has the most potent potential after Yulong himself. However, Yulong didn't want his baby girl to enter this chaotic world yet and firmly believed she must enjoy her childhood fully. As a brother, Yulong must guarantee that. When she was old enough, Yulong would create a tailor-made profound art and legacy for her. Yulong admitted that throwing Fen Jueshan under a bus was dirty. But, hey! At least Fen Jueshan could become stronger like he wanted and save the world alongside Yulong. It is a win-win situation. Hehe, I hope you're ready for this, Jueshan. Yulong chuckled playfully. At Lost Heaven sect, Fen Jueshan sneezed. Achoo! Did someone talk about me? No, it must be my training that is lacking. Or Fen Jueshan started doing 100 sit UPS, 100 push UPS, 100 squats, and running 10 kilometers for warm-up. Chapter 226, Harem Planning and Next Destination. Swoosh! Yulong, Feng Shuer, Yuan, Yesanshan, Yan'an, and Uxin returned to the sea cave. After discussing with the ancestors, they agreed and decided to prepare for everything first. Yesanshan and Yan'an would proceed to the Lost Heaven sect and bring Fen Jueshan back to the ancestral land in a few days. As for Yulong, he set his eyes on the illusory demon realm. Oh, yeah. Yulong also got some souvenirs from his ancestors. Nirvana Essence and Nirvana Subduing Art from Ancestor Shu. Array and Formation Knowledge from Ancestor Zayun. Sky Demon's Medical Sutra and 108 Cold Silver Needles from Ancestor Yeazai. A fist technique named Exploding Force and Body Metamorphosis Pill from Ancestor Zun Er. Surprisingly, Ancestor Shanai didn't give Yulong any technique. Still, she gifted him a dozen ancient ice silk and a massive lump of deep-sea black iron. On the other hand, Ancestor Wanrong gave him an inverted serpent seal, which could control nearly all snake-type beasts. It also could strengthen them by one level and purify their serpent's bloodline. Yulong would have never thought the stuttering ancestor had such an ability. Heck! She even gave Yulong a sovereign profound realm snake egg with synthesized devil's bloodline. The name of the Serpent Queen is not simple. In fact, her ability in the serpent biological field is terrifying. At last, Yulong's great-grandfather, Yetianese. Yulong got a sovereign profound weapon, a runic mountain knife, and 4 ancient bracelets that could restrict his profound strength, physical strength, and even blood energy made by his great-grandfather. Overall, the souvenirs are nice. Some didn't exist in the divine realm or primordial era of gods. Okay, we will go to the Lost Heaven sect. Yesanchan held Yananen's hand. What are you going to next, Xiner? Uxin smiled and answered casually, I'd return to the Yu clan. Yu Mei was still sleeping when the ancestor summoned me. I hope she wasn't awake by the time I arrived. Yu Mei is hard to console when she's crying. Okay, then. Yesanchan nodded in understanding. He also gets why Yulong didn't say anything about Yu Mei when the ancestors scrambled to get an alternative subject into the strongest warrior project. See you in a few months. After that, Yesanchan and Yananen disappeared into the horizon. Uxin glanced at Yulong's girls and playfully invited Feng Shuer, come visit our home sometimes, Shuer. I'll introduce you to Yulong's father and younger sister. Trust me, they will love your presence. I will, mother-in-law. Feng Shuer replied with a blush. Such a cute girl. Uxin couldn't help but pinch the Phoenix Princess's fair cheek teasingly. Well, I will be waiting by then. Then, Uxin turned into a corrupted light and vanished from the spot. Yulong watched the dark light penetrating the azure sky and sighed in hopelessness. My mother's corrupted light aspect is so powerful, but she was too lazy to develop it. Well, it's not like I can force her. Even then, she already reached the peak of Sovereign Profound Realm and mastered her Profound Art to level 15. If only she put a bit more effort. Yulong patted his forehead. Feng Shuer blinked in awe, whoa, mother-in-law was that strong. Yin shivered on the side and commented, Mistress Xin is really terrifying, Shuer. Don't look down on her sunny go personality because she was one of the earliest people who got tailor-made profound arts from Master. She might be lazy, but as Master said earlier, her talent is jaw-dropping. If we used the rule of Eternal Night Royal Family's ancestral land, then Mistress Xin's title would be the Queen of Twilight. Queen of Twilight. Feng Shuer mumbled to herself. That's the suitable title for her. Yulong nodded slightly. But I don't think she likes to mess around with the higher world. My mother is only a woman who wants to watch her family happy, her kids grow, and marry peacefully. In fact, her greatest wish right now is to hold some grandbabies. Feng Shuer blushed hard, gee, grandbabies. I'm not ready for that, but if Big Brother wants to. Haha, I'm also not ready, Shuer. Yulong patted the blushing princess gently. Let alone marriage. I don't have enough time to spend with you and the rest of the girls. The cons of having too many women. Yin chimed in like an expert. Maybe you should start scheduling how to spend quality time with us, Master. I will think about it. Yulong doesn't deny Yin's advice. They left the beach resort and went to the Divine Phoenix Empire. On the way to the Divine Phoenix Empire, Yulong forgets to mention the primordial Sin Divine Sword to the ancestors. Well, they never asked for it, so nothing horrible should happen. Right? Yulong shrugged and arrived at the Divine Phoenix Palace after a few minutes. To his surprise, the girls are having dinner with each other. Including Mu Binjayun, Mu Xiaolan, and Yona, Xianyu and Yufeng. The sheer amount of beauty sitting around the dining table is mouth-watering. No, even looking at gathering at the table is enough to satisfy any normal man. Deep inside, Yulong was satisfied with his second life. He doesn't lack anything. Rich, honor, glory, power, and beauty, you name it. Yet Yulong is still thinking about how to make the lives of people around him much better than the current. As they ate dinner, Yulong explained his plan for the illusory demon realm. Everyone supported him, but some of them unfortunately had to stay in the profound sky continent. If something like Pandora ever happened again, Xia Qingyu, Kengyu, Lily, and Hongguan agreed to stay on the profound sky continent and monitor everything here. Not to mention, Xia Qingyu and Kengyu must break into the divine origin realm first. They needed to enter seclusion. Solinger missed her mother, smiling. With that mindset, Shizu decided that her disciple must visit her disciple and train in the Azure Cloud continent. Of course, Ni Yayu, Ni Wanhu, and Ling Xiun followed them along. Mu Binjayun and Mu Xiaolan instantly decided to follow Shizu, though they wanted Yulong to bring them to the illusory demon realm with those pleading eyes. Apparently, they must learn Shizu's heavenly made art first. Yeah, that was nonsense. Then, Feng Shui'er gave Yu Long a surprising answer. At first, Feng Shui'er wanted to explore the illusory demon realm with Yu Long, but she abruptly decided to raise her cultivation first. She even asked Yuan to train her like it was hell for her. And Yuan could only agree to her disciples' pleas. So, they stayed behind at the Divine Phoenix Palace. It left Yu Long with Chu Yueli, Chu Yueshan, and Yona. 4 of them would go to the illusory demon realm tomorrow. This lineup is amusingly ironic as Chu Yueshan and Xian Yuan Yufeng's relationship in the original story is akin to oil and water. At least Xian Yuan Yufeng or Yona didn't die in this changed world. After dinner, everyone went to their rooms except Xia Qingyu, Feng Shui'er, and Yuan. They wanted to sleep with Yu Long tonight because they hadn't seen him for 2 or 3 weeks. Of course, not the lewd kind of sleep. Feng Shui'er is still too inexperienced. In the end, 5 of them sleep on the king-sized bed. Yu Long had Qingyu and Xia Qingyu on each side, Feng Shui'er on his chest, and Yuan on the bottom. The perverted phoenix's breathing is heavy when hugging Yu Long's thighs, and he can't do anything about it. It was a rare occasion for Yuan, and she loved it. The next day, Yu Long yawned and walked the primordial profound arc with Chu Yueshan, Chu Yueli, and Yona. He just had breakfast and said farewell to everyone, but seemingly forgetting something or someone. Brat with surname Yu. How dare you go to the illusory demon realm without bringing this demon king? A furious shout comes from behind. I was busy and almost forgot our deal, Elder Kanghai. Yu Long put on an innocent expression. But trust me, it wasn't intentional. Yun Kanghai ran toward Yu Long and responded, damn you, like I would believe your nonsense again. You almost left me behind at the Divine Phoenix Palace. Anyway, let's take off immediately. Yu Long smiled, sure. But we must fetch your family member on the way first. My family member? Did I have any on the profound sky continent? Yun Kanghai frowned at him. Yes. It's your grandson. Yu Long casually dropped a bomb of fact. Hehe, I actually forgot to tell you about his existence. Yun Kanghai. Chapter 227, Yun Che's New Fate. Floating Cloud City. An invisible flying vessel arrived above Floating Cloud City, but ordinary people couldn't see it because of the camouflage array. 5 immortal-like experts descended from the sky and landed near a blue lake. Welp, master can make someone sulk this much. Chu Yueli glanced at the dark-faced Yun Kanghai. The Demon King looks like someone who got his favorite shirt soiled by bird poop. Yona checked Yun Kanghai quietly, no, he's excited. Even though I don't know why, he was nervous and thrilled inside by a family bond. I'm not. Yun Kanghai tried to deny Yona's claims. You're denying it, but we could sense that your heart isn't so calm, Yona added monotonously. Okay, let the homesick demon grandpa be nervous. It's been a long time since he met his family member. Yu Long decided to save Yun Kanghai from further embarrassment. Humph. Yun Kanghai grumbled and swayed his head away. What a tsundere. Chu Yueshan looked around the mountain range and commented, is it just me, or the profound energy in the atmosphere is richer here? Now that you mention it. Chu Yueli breathed in. I felt a refreshing feeling with every breath I take. As if someone has placed profound gathering arrays. Yu Long smiled and answered their confusion, because ancestral God used to descend here. Her weakened presence changed the ley lines of profound energy in the area. In fact, Yueli made contact with Shizu before she became mine, no. Chu Yueli recalled her encounter with the maddened ancestral God and shivered, yet. That was a terrifying experience. At the time of Yun Che's death, Xiao Lingzi cried hysterically and shouted until a powerful spiritual force emanated from her body, sending shivers down Chu Yueli's spine. If Chu Yueli hadn't gotten any training from Yu Long, she might have died on the spot back then. Chu Yueshan tilted her head in a haze because there were many things she didn't know about her sister and master. However, she had expected this already. They entered the floating cloud city and went to the Xiao clan. To their surprise, Yun Che and Xiao Lingzi left the floating cloud city a week ago. Yun Che learned that he wasn't Xiao Lei's biological grandson and explored the outside world to find clues about his biological family. Yun Kanghai gazed at Xiao Lei solemnly and cupped his hand before bowing his body respectfully, thank you for taking care of my grandson like a real family member. I can't imagine the hardship. It must have been hard for you. Xiao Lei's eyes widened in shock, are you Xiao Che's grandfather? Even though I haven't met him yet, yes. That young man is indeed my grandson. Yun Kanghai nodded in all seriousness. I can vouch for him. Yu Long added casually. Elder Kanghai was trapped for years and only able to come out recently. As for blood connection, Elder Lai should have known that Xiao Chei's father befriended your son. His name is Yun Qinghong from the Yun family of illusory demon realm. And Yun Qinghong's father is none other than Elder Kanghai. I see. Elder Lai trusted Yu Long's words because he had no reason to lie. Not to mention, a well-known young man like Yu Long is known for his straightforward character. He glanced at Yun Kanghai and sighed. Xiao Chei is currently visiting the New Moon City. New Moon City. Yu Long narrowed his eyes. It is like the original plot, but Yun Chei didn't meet Jasmine this time. Yu Long wondered if Yun Chei could develop into a powerhouse without his protagonist's buff. Technically speaking, Yun Chei's bloodline and upbringing already gave him a strong aptitude for cultivation. As long as Yun Chei cultivated diligently, he could reach the Divine King realm. Elder Kanghai, I know you want to repay Elder Lai, but that can wait another time. Well, we must go to the illusory demon realm. Let's fetch Yun Chei in the New Moon City. Yu Long said to Elder Kanghai. Understood. Yun Kanghai let out a sigh of agreement. Brother Lai, I'd like to enjoy some wine with you, but we must cut our encounter short. After a week or two, I will return and give you one of my prized collections. 1,000 years old Mao Tai sounds good, no? Xiao Lai was stunned by Yun Kanghai's generosity and chuckled, I would love to have you as my guest, Brother Kanghai. When you return, I will prepare some snacks. Haha, good, good. Xiao Lai and Yun Kanghai laughed. It seems they have reached the same wavelength. No matter how old males are, they can become friends over a simple thing. After that, Yu Long and others moved to the New Moon City. Since it was close, they teleport there. Yu Long closed his eyes and used bloodline tracking to detect Yun Chei's presence. He frowned because Yun Chei was protecting Xiao Lingzi in an alley and surrounded by people. And these people don't look friendly. 300 meters. North. Yu Long said while floating to the sky. Yun Kanghai didn't even bother to fly and turn into blue lightning. He landed on a random building's rooftop and looked down, seeing a young man with a sense of familiarity, whether it was appearance or bloodline. So it's true. I do have a grandson. Tears welled up in Yun Kanghai's aged eyes. He got trapped under the god-forsaken ceiling formation for years, so seeing a family member makes him feel emotional. Then, Yun Kanghai's eyes become cold when he sees some ruffians dare to surround his grandson with ill intentions. I will kill. He said with burning murderous intent. No, you don't. Yu Long forced Yun Kanghai to stay. Your grandson is not a bean sprout. He doesn't need his granddaddy's help. Don't you see, he's trying to protect a lady. Yun Kanghai frowned and looked at the frightened-looking young woman beside his grandson. Although she has no cultivation, her appearance is fair and beautiful. Yu Long smiled and added, if you saved your grandson, he wouldn't look cool before his damsel. Also, don't you want to see how talented your grandson was? He might not be as powerful as me, but he should be decent enough to deal with some hooligans. What kind of sane person would compare a monster like you to other people? Yun Kanghai snorted at Yu Long's last remarks. Even then, Yun Kanghai agreed with Yu Long and decided to watch his grandson's performance. Chu Yueli, Chu Yueshan and Yona landed on the nearby rooftop and looked down at their new entertainment. Yun Chei and Xiao Lingzi are in a cramped situation. They just arrived at the New Moon City yesterday, and some thugs were interested in Xiao Lingzi's beauty. Of course, Yun Chei beat them senseless, but who would have thought they'd bring more people to attack them? Yun Chei's body flickered with electricity as he moved and slapped one of the thugs. A thunderclap echoed in the alley, and one thug got sent flying like a ragdoll. Bam! However, Yun Chei also failed to dodge a sneak attack and got punched in the guts. Cough! Yun Chei dramatically coughed blood. He wiped his bloodied mouth. Is this all you can do? Attacking me with numbers. Fight me one-on-one if you dare. Fool, why would we do that? The thugs laughed at Yun Chei. Just hand over that woman to us, or we will cripple you. Yun Chei grimaced, never. I will protect little aunt with everything I have. Xiao Chei. Xiao Ling, the source of this conflict, couldn't help but cover her mouth. She was deeply touched by Yun Chei's words. You're just nascent profound brat. Protect? How laughable! Said the biggest thug who is just third level of true profound realm. Take my punch. Fire ape fist. The thug's fist was poorly covered by a thin layer of orange flame. Yunche gritted his teeth and mumbled, "You left me with no choice." The former protagonist stabbed his chest with his own thumb and caused electricity in his body to go berserk. It is a forbidden technique that Yunche developed after visiting the New Moon City's library. Thunderer's Impulse. It didn't enhance Yunche's cultivation base. However, it increases Yunche's physical strength, reaction speed, and other enhanced bodily functions. Watching the incoming attack from the thug, Yunche focused all his strength on his index finger and shouted, "Thunder Light Beam." Yunche fired a blue laser from his finger and shot the thug's fist, penetrating it like a hot knife through butter. Arg! The thug roared in pain. Blood splattered everywhere. At the same time, Yunche fired 3 more blue lasers and finished the rest of the thugs. Yet a few seconds later, he coughed another mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Swoosh! Someone caught Yunche before he touched the ground. "Good child, you don't tarnish Yun family's name at all." Yun Kanghai looked at his fainted grandson with adoration. "How was it?" Yu Long asked from the rooftop. Yun Kanghai grinned and responded boldly, "He's the best grandson I could wish for." Chapter 228, Illusory Demon Realm. After fetching Yunche and Xiao Lingzi, Yu Long summoned the primordial profound arc to the New Moon City and boarded it with others. Xiao Lingzi glanced at Yu Long and rubbed her thighs nervously. "It's been a while, young master Yu." Yu Long smiled at Xiao Lingzi, "Yes, young lady Xiao. I see that you have become more beautiful." "No way, I'm not beautiful at all." Xiao Lingzi bashfully replied while rubbing her blushing cheeks. After asking whether Xiao Lingzi was fine, Yu Long nodded because she hadn't gotten any scratches on her body. Yunche protected her well enough. That elder is." Xiao Lingzi approached Yu Long and moved her gaze to Yun Kanghai, who checked Yunche's condition. Yu Long shrugged, "He's Yun Kanghai, Yunche's biological grandfather." "No way." Xiao Lingzi covered her mouth in disbelief. Xiao Lai has told her that Yunche's family wasn't from the profound sky continent. That's why Xiao Lingzi and Yunche departed from the floating cloud city to find some clues. Who would have thought Yunche's biological grandfather would find them in the New Moon City instead? "Yes, Wei. How is your grandson's condition, Elder Kanghai?" Yu Long asked the now gentle-looking Demon King. Yun Kanghai checked Yunche's veins and sighed, "He is fine. Just overtaxing his body with lightning energy. Fortunately, he didn't use too much lightning energy, or else his nerves, veins, and blood vessels would explode. It's good that he cultivated lightning-type profound art, my Yun family's specialty. After he wakes up, I will awaken his bloodline's power and teach him Yun family's purple cloud art. Profound handle, hey? That's a neat ability to have." Yu Long commented with a nod. "Humph. My Yun family's profound handle is more than a neat ability." Yun Kanghai snorted. "It is one of the strongest legacies in the illusory demon realm." Yu Long smirked at Yun Kanghai and returned, "Yeah, sure. You probably didn't know that your family originated from the upper realm. Hehe, but I won't tell you about it. You can pay me with something if you want to know." "Why you?" Yun Kanghai was speechless. Even though Yun Kanghai was the patriarch of the Yun family, their origin was conveniently shrouded by a mysterious mist. He was always curious about it, but there was no record of even text to satiate his curiosity. When Yun Kanghai was young, he even asked his great-grandfather about it, but they were clueless. Yun Kanghai only knew 2 pieces of information. They came from a faraway place and were purposely entrusted to protect the mirror of samsara. But now Yu Long told Yun Kanghai that he knew about their Yun family's origin. This golden-eyed young man becomes more and more bizarre each day. Yu Long ignored the baffled Yun Kanghai and controlled the primordial profound arc to teleport. He also didn't ask Yun Kanghai for the illusory demon realm's location because one of his kaiju, the 9-knot grim ichthyosaurus, had reached the said continent. "Oni, give me the coordinates for the illusory demon realm," Yu Long said to his kaiju. "Yes, my lord." The ichthyosaurus responded with her splendid siren-like voice. "I've been waiting for your command for months, hehe." After getting the location, Yu Long willed the primordial profound arc to move, and the surrounding fabric space weakened around the flying vessel. Everyone on the ship felt a weird sensation on their skin before witnessing the profound spatial passage. It was starry blue with a greyish streak. Space, sword. Chu Yueshan observed the passage and couldn't help but sit down as she gained an epiphany. She placed the Song of Broken Spines on her lap and began meditating on the wonder of space. How lucky! Chu Yueli sighed on the side. Even though Chu Yueshan wasn't as strong as Chu Yueli, the former was still a genius and encountered more fortuitous chances. There was a hint of jealousy in Chu Yueli's heart but quickly dispelled by the fact everything was equal in Yu Long's eyes. Not to mention, Chu Yueshan just started her journey. Yu Long placed a barrier around Chu Yueshan so nothing would disturb her epiphany. He blinked, and the primordial profound arc arrived at the edge of a vast new continent. Boom! A tall wave collided with the primordial profound arc, revealing a massive creature. The Ning Not Grim Ichthyosaur is a massive serpentine dragon plated in black and silver scales. She has gleaming blue eyes, jagged spines, and needle-sharp fangs. Her bladed tail is fanned like a fish, shot through with blue veins. She has a crystal-like horn atop her head, shining with a dark hue. And this hell of an oceanic beast is Yu Long's 11th kaiju. My lord! The ichthyosaur lowered her head to Yu Long, scaring Xiao Lingzi and Yun Kanghai witless. Young Master Yu! Xiao Lingzi looked at Yu Long in a newfound light. Meanwhile, Yun Kanghai felt a shiver down his spine because Oni gave him the same feeling as Muzan. A monster! Fuck, I didn't expect this brat to have more monsters like Muzan on his side. Yun Kanghai cursed in his mind. He still remembers the beating he took from the scorpion-tailed Demon King. Yu Long rubbed Oni's head gently. How have you been, Oni? Good, my lord. The ichthyosaur purred. Although it was somewhat boring, your human subordinates did their job properly. They'd report to me from time to time. In fact, they should send a messenger in a few hours. Yun Kanghai's expression paled. Wait, you have sent your subordinates to the illusory demon realm before consulting with me. Yu Long rolled his eyes and said, don't make it sound like I'm a betrayer. I've sent my subordinates far back before I even met you, Elder Kanghai. Yueli could back me up on that. Chu Yueli nodded and added calmly, yes, Master did send 2 groups of shadow agents to Azure Cloud Continent and Illusory Demon Realm before we went to the Heavenly Sword Villa. I believe it was 3 to 4 months ago. And you didn't tell me. Yun Kanghai was speechless. Yu Long shrugged and countered, hey, I told my subordinates to find and gather knowledge only. They wouldn't make any noises in the Illusory Demon Realm because that wasn't Shadow Realm's style. Even your 12 guardian families and Little Demon Empress don't know their existence. Anyway, let's check out the new continent. Yu Long jumped off the board. Everyone watched him falling to the beach and had a wide range of emotions. Ah, Yona! You carried young lady Xiao down. His voice echoed from below. Yona glanced at Xiao Lingzi and nodded, understood. She grabbed Xiao Ling by the waist and jumped off, making the latter scream in fear. Kai! Xiao Lingzi was frightened. There is a massive difference between teleportation and falling from the sky. Well. Chu Yueli glanced at her meditating older sister and shook her head before following Yu Long's step. Yun Kanghai was the only conscious person on the ship. His mouth and eyelids twitched crazily. Who knows how deeply Yu Long's forces have infiltrated the illusory demon realm? Yun Kanghai couldn't imagine the 12 guardian families and Little Demon Empress resisting forces like the Lost Heaven sect and Shadow Realm. Heck! Even the 4 great sacred grounds were completely wiped out by the Shadow Realm and Lost Heaven sect. Both forces combined have over 1,000 monarch-level experts, not counting monsters like Yu Long and his wives. Damn it! Yun Kanghai underestimated Yu Long's shrewdness. Sly little fox! Yu Long whistled, unaware of Yun Kanghai's mental breakdown, and landed on the beach. He breathed in and commented, the profound energy in the atmosphere is better than the profound sky continent. However, the aura of the continent is interesting. The flora and fauna are also much more impressive. Roughly 70 billion in population. 90% of them are human, demons, and profound beasts. The rest is fairy. Yet they could live together despite the diversity, unlike the profound sky continent's population. I must admit that the Demon Emperor was a great leader. He sighed in admiration. The only problem is the fact he didn't realize the tumor was growing under this peaceful prosperity. It was big enough to affect the whole continent now. Illusory Demon Realm. It will be an enjoyable little journey. Yu Long's golden eyes shone brightly. I can't wait to find more research subjects. Chapter 229, Shadow Realms Branch, Heavenly Demon Cult. Yu Long observed the surroundings with marvel. Although the illusory demon realm exists on the same planet as the Azure Cloud Continent and Profound Sky Continent, this place has a different atmosphere. There are some similarities, but the air, flora, and fauna have mutated prominently. If I started here, I could have recovered from the Kaiju Maker faster. He mumbled out of simple observation. Of course, the illusion demon realm has less god's legacy than the profound sky continent and has no ancient devil beasts like the azure cloud continent, but they won by sheer variety. Yulong walked to a coconut tree and tapped it once, which caused a coconut to fall. His strength control is so perfect that only one coconut fell at a time. He cracked the coconut with his finger and tasted the water. The coconut is sweeter than expected. It also makes me rehydrate faster. There is a subtle hint of profound energy, but it was less than 0,001%. Maybe I should try planting some trees. Yulong thoughtfully rubbed his chin. What do you think, Freya? I think it's a great idea, Master, Freya answered calmly from the Kaiju world. After reforming some lands and vegetation, I noticed this planet has immense potential. We can unearth the land beneath the ocean and slowly create a ring of fire to raise life. Making fertile land is easy, but maintaining it is hard, so we could use Pandora's mutated profound beasts to introduce some head start. Yulong's mouth twitched. I'm talking about planting trees on a small scale. Like a garden. Oh. Freya giggled nervously. She was too ambitious. Then, you can try finding some volcanoes with vast bodies of water nearby. I will handle the rest. What kind of trees do you want to plant, Master? Fruits. Yulong replied casually. If possible, I want apples, pears, oranges, melons, and watermelons. Freya noted Yulong's order and commented solemnly, give me a few days. After that, Freya left the Kaiju world and flew out of the beach. Yulong watched the purplish-green light fleet away to the horizon and shook his head because he hoped Freya didn't cause trouble for him. Chu Yueli and Yona landed near Yulong, eyeing their surroundings with great interest. In Yona's right hand is fainted Xiao Lingzi, who looks like someone who just experienced life and death moment. It's just like the azure cloud continent again. Chu Yueli murmured while crouching on the ground and picking a handful of sand. Each grain felt nice in her hand. Yona threw Xiao Lingzi to soft grass, glanced at Chu Yueli and also picked a handful of sand. What she did next with it baffled Chu Yueli, though. The green-haired lady clenched her hand and turned the sand into molten glass, leaving Chu Yueli speechless. She played around with the molten glass before making it as dark as ebony night, shaping it into stylish sunglasses. Master, for you. Yona cooled the sunglasses and handed them to Yulong. Too much sunlight is not good for your eyes. Chu Yueli. What the hell? Yulong glanced at the sunglasses. Okay. Thanks, Yona. Yona smiled. Not long after, a bright light greeted Yulong, and the behemoth that was 9-not Grim Ichthyosaur transformed into her humanoid form. Unlike her seniors and fellow kaiju, however, Ani didn't fully transform into a human and has a kaiju-esque appearance. An 9-not Grim Ichthyosaur's name will be Ani from now on. Ani stood around 4'11" feet or less than 150 centimeters. She looks like a lithe teenage girl with a tanned physique, wet purple hair, sharp shark-like teeth, and dark draconic scales on her neck and collarbone. She wore a very exposing dark blue hakama with a bandage beneath it and short pants, making her look like a delinquent young lady. Yona eyed Ani and mumbled, should I wear this kind of clothes too? No, you don't. Yulong could only imagine the disaster if Yona wore something this exposing. Much blood would get shed because of it, especially from the nose. Ani sniffed with her little nose and said, oh, your people are going to arrive in a few minutes, Master. You can smell them. Chu Yueli asked curiously. Ani nodded and explained, my nose is a little special. I can smell and remember different scents before storing them at the back of my head. Even if you're a clone of someone, I can still distinguish the difference between two scents. Ani's range is over 100 kilometers. Yulong chuckled because he made her this way. She could even smell the chemical components in the air to help her with detection. Like a hunting dog. Yona uttered suddenly. Exactly. Ani gave Yona a nod. I'm the best when it comes to hunting prey. They are here, by the way. Yulong and others glanced back, seeing a group of grey-clothed figures walking from the lush forests. He narrowed his eyes slightly because the embroidery was meticulously done on the uniform, which caught his attention. Made with subtle yet refined red threads, the words Heavenly Demon Cult are embedded on the back of the grey uniform with a golden underlining. The characters are arranged like wings as if signifying that they could soar above gold, that is, heaven. The one leading these people is a middle-aged man. He looks over his 40s with a tall and refined appearance. Even though he wore the grey uniform like any other, his long braided hair, sharp mustache and beard made him look like someone who was very wise and people wanted to depend on. Yu Long recognized the middle-aged man. "Ah, old man Fu Zhong. You're the one leading this team, hey?" "Yes, Lord Shadow." Fu Zhong is one of Shadow Realm's founders. In fact, he was one of the oldest members, with the age of over 89. "I've brought the team to the illusory demon realm and developed the heavenly demon cult as our base here. We have infiltrated all minor and major cities, recruiting natives as our cult members. However, we haven't touched the demon imperial city yet and waited for your order first." Yu Long nodded in understanding. "Good. How many members do you guys have right now?" Fu Zhong grinned. 1 million cult members ready at your service, Lord Shadow." 1 million? Damn. Yu Long couldn't believe his ears for a second. 1 million is a lot of members. Even the Azure Cloud Continents branch didn't have that many members. "You didn't do anything shady, right, old man Fu Zhong?" "Hehe, don't worry." Fu Zhong answered assuringly. "I'm doing everything with enough moral standards. We followed the Shadow Realm's method and recruited abandoned orphans and castaways in the illusory demon realm. You can't imagine how many of them are dying every day. The illusory demon realm might look calm on the surface, but greedy people are still fighting under it and causing much misery over a few decades. Anyway, after getting these recruiters, we gave them home, trained them how to survive, and instilled some belief, that's it." "Some belief, hey?" Yu Long snorted, to which Fu Zhong innocently responded by raising his arms in defeat. Fu Zhong glanced at the people behind him and added, "Yuan Lin, come out. Give Lord Shadow your daily schedule in the heavenly demon cult." "Yes, great protector." A young woman walked out of the group and stood before Yu Long. Yu Long observed the young woman and found her cute with her bob-cut black hair, gleaming brown eyes, and round face. "Hello, Lord Shadow." The young woman greeted Yu Long with her raspy and determined voice. "My name is Yuan Lin, and I'm Great Protector's 12th disciple. 3 months ago, I was just a dying member of society and cast aside because of my low upbringing. Let's not mention my cultivation talents because I'm the lowest talent in my hometown. My appearance is like ugly duckling. No one wants to take me in, not even my parents, as they had to feed my other sisters so they can marry good husbands. However, Great Protector took me in one day. He trained me based on the Shadow Realm standard. In the morning, he would give us theoretical knowledge about a wide range of things, starting from the values of money, medicine, and basic understanding of elements. Then, we will do physical training by noon, usually sparring against each other. There is a ranking list in the Heavenly Demon Cult, and I'm currently the 3rd. After that, we will have free time to do anything we want, as long as we don't do chaos or discriminate against others, until dinner time. Filling our stomach, the last daily task is praying." "Praying?" Yu Long raised his brow. Yuan Lin gave Yu Long a nod. "We will pray for 15 to 45 minutes toward you, Lord Shadow, hoping you'd protect us from harm and evil. This practice is mandatory in the Heavenly Demon Cult, and some even prayed for a longer time. Then, we sleep. Rinse and repeat every day." She finished with a high-pitched voice. Fu Zhong looked at his disciple in satisfaction. "That's right. Without Lord Shadow, the world would have no light. He'd guide us to the heavenly path and cast others in his mantle of darkness. Damn it, old man Fu Zhong. You have some loose screws in your head." Yu Long's mouth twitched slightly. "I only left you guys for a few months, and you actually built a religion that worshipped me." Chapter 230, Yun Family's State, Earth Dragon Enclave. Yu Long silently stood on the hall of the primordial profound arc with a dark expression. After learning what Fu Zhong had done, he couldn't help but feel the cringy method to build a faction was biting him back on the ass. What he was afraid of finally came. Yes, a group of his own fanatics. Yu Long's mouth would twitch from time to time because there were 1 million of the Heavenly Demon Cult's members who worshipped him like their savior. They weren't wrong in a way because Yu Long was their savior. Yet, Yu Long wasn't the type of religious person in the first place, so this change of pace made him feel complicated. Whatever, I will put these things aside for now. Yu Long could only sigh helplessly at himself. Chu Yueli is currently talking with Fu Zhong, inquiring about his progress on the illusory demon realm in a more detailed manner. Yun Kanghai also talked with one of the natives from the heavenly demon cult, asking about the situation of the Yun family now. To Yun Kanghai's surprise, his Yun family is on the verge of destruction. After Yun Kanghai brought 10 elders of his Yun family to save the demon emperor years ago and failed, the Yun family lost their core power and got resources reduced for losing an important artifact, the demon emperor seal. Above all else, they were tacitly prohibited from entering the Golden Crow Lightning Flame Valley for 100 years. Yun Kanghai clenched his hands so hard to the point blood dripped on the deck when he learned that his son Yun Qinghong and daughter-in-law Mu Yura went to the profound sky continent to exchange his life with the mirror of samsara but failed again because the 4 great sacred grounds probably sabotaged them. Yun Kanghai wasn't dumb. He had deduced what happened next. Yun Qinghong and Mu Yura had to flee from the profound sky continent and escape, but Mu Yura was probably pregnant within that period. They couldn't bring Yun Che along because the 4 great sacred grounds had done something to them. It led to a switch between Yun Che and Xiao Lai's biological grandson. Those damn sacred grounds! Yun Kanghai felt his entire blood boil when learning this information. I should have skinned them alive first before killing them all. No, I have to rub their peeled skin with salts first. Maybe burn them with fire also. Yun Kanghai glanced at the sleeping Yun Che, who was tended to by Xiao Lingzi, and sighed, there must be more to it. My Yun family has contributed a lot more than other guardian family. The unfairness we experienced is cruel. The Yun family was already so vulnerable after losing 10 elders and me years ago, but cutting the resources put the younger generation in a hard spot because they couldn't grow without it. I can even imagine how they protected themselves for the last few decades. Humph, someone must have planned this. It must be someone with strength and influence. Demon Emperor's death. Little Demon Emperor's mysterious disappearance. My plan to save the Demon Emperor was obviously foiled by the same person. If not, how could those 4 great sacred grounds ambush us perfectly? You're on the right track, Elder Kanghai. However, you should prepare your grandson and yourself to expose the truth. Yu Long suddenly commented, making Yun Kanghai's eyes widen in awe. Yun Kanghai frowned, you know something, don't you? Yu Long gazed down at the illusory demon realm from the primordial profound arc and returned, yes. But from the look of your face, you want to find the truth yourself. Of course. Yun Kanghai snorted pridefully. He has suffered for too long and does not want Yu Long to meddle with his revenge, though it would be much faster. Yu Long respected Yun Kanghai's wishes and shrugged. It shouldn't be difficult for the old fox like Yun Kanghai to connect the dots and discover the truth. However, Yun Kanghai needs someone to back him up. Thankfully, Yu Long wasn't petty and allowed Yun Kanghai to access more resources because he was the assigned representative. After flying for 30 minutes, they finally arrived at the Plain of Solitude, a flat and dead land of over 900,000 kilometers square. Plain of Solitude, hey! Yun Kanghai said while wrapping his bloody hand with a bandage. He could have consumed some recovery pills to heal, but he wanted to remember the pain. This pain will make him remember the despair he endured and fuel his motivation for revenge. This place used to be a battlefield for the war that Demon Emperor and I fought. However, there is nothing here. He glanced at Fu Zhong and commented, I thought you guys were at the same level as the Lost Heaven sect, so how could you build your base in a shabby place like this? Hehe, don't compare us to the Lost Heaven sect. Fu Zhong replied with a chuckle. The heavenly demon cult is more low-key and tried not to cause too much sensation. Not to mention, we are only to gather information and get as many experimental materials as possible for the Lord Shadow. Also, don't you think this flat land is the perfect cover for our base? Fu Zhong walked to the tip of primordial profound arc and waved some hand signs to open a formation array. The sky wobbled, revealing a land covered by lush trees and a massive palace in the center. This is... Chu Yueli squinted her eyes. A large-scale illusion array. No, there is more to it. It is just a cover. That palace is nothing but decoration. Yu Long shook his head at Fu Zhong's cunningness. The base is underground. Fu Zhong laughed, haha, as expected of Lord Shadow, you caught on pretty quick. We only used the palace to greet our guests. Lord Shadow, you can park the primordial profound arc by that empty area. He added while pointing at the rocky field. Yu Long nodded and lowered the massive primordial profound arc to the ground, letting it float a few kilometers high, which surprisingly didn't cast a shadow over the ground. Everyone jumped off the flying vessels and followed Fu Zhong to a natural crack in the ground. Yun Kanghai carried his grandson on his shoulder and furrowed his brows. As they walked to the ground, Yun Kanghai saw a natural ravine with a running river on the bottom. On top of that, Yun Kanghai spotted several facilities built on the ravine's walls. The facility is uniquely connected by a 15-meter-long bridge, and there are so many of them as the ravines stretch over 3 miles away. Yun Kanghai's nose twitched as he detected natural airflow into the ravine. This place is actually perfect for a hidden base. That's why we built the heavenly demon cult here. Fu Zhong kept walking down the stairs. In fact, we found this place by accident and had been transforming it months ago. Of course, the key reason is the natural resources. There are dragon veins near this ravine, which made this place firmer than ever. The dragon veins also provided the heavenly demon cult with ever-increasing profound energy quality, allowing us to increase our cultivation speed by 2 if not 3 times. So, we named this place Earthly Dragon Enclave because of its secluded nature. Amazing! Yun Kanghai hissed. He and the Demon Emperor actually missed such a good place. Unfortunately, Yun Kanghai couldn't regret it because it was Heavenly Demon Cult's luck and chance to find this place. They arrived before a tall crimson gate and saw Heavenly Demon Cult written on a large chunk of obsidian stone. Fu Zhong slowly opened the gate and revealed a platform with a vast stone-paved field beneath it. He bowed to Yulong, Lord Shadow, please walk in first. Yulong shrugged and walked toward the platform, overseeing the field below. His eyes widened because over 100,000 Heavenly Demon Cult members were doing a horse stance and practicing their punches. Ha! They punched out simultaneously, creating a harmonious echo in the room. Again! Someone shouted. Ha! Again! Ha! Yulong was actually amazed by their coordination and found no fault in their routine. At the same time, the others also arrived at the platform and were stunned by the sight before them. Fu Zhong grinned from ear to ear. He coughed a few times and shouted, Ahem, ahem, halt! Heavenly Demon Cult! Lord Shadow has come to visit us today. Greet our leader and deity. The Heavenly Demon Cult's members were stunned and gazed up, seeing Yulong with bright eyes. Welcome to Heavenly Demon Cult. Long live the Heavenly Demon, Lord Shadow. Welcome to Heavenly Demon Cult. Long live the Heavenly Demon, Lord Shadow. Welcome to Heavenly Demon Cult. Long live the Heavenly Demon, Lord Shadow. Yulong felt different when they greeted him like this. Well, that was something. Maybe this whole cult thing wasn't as bad as I thought. Chapter 231, Dragon Veins, Private Bathing Site, and Family Reunion. Earthly Dragon Enclave. At the bottom of the Heavenly Demon Cult lies powerful natural resources that weren't inferior to heaven and earth's treasure. It might be even more priceless because the dragon veins were only born in the right place and at the proper time. Fu Zhong discovered the dragon veins while practicing his profound art, the art of geomancer. In other words, his mastery also revolves around geomancy or feng shui of the surrounding area. Of course, you shouldn't look down on Fu Zhong. He was one of the Shadow Realm's founders. He's not by any means weaker than others. If the leader of Azure Cloud Continent's branch, Yeshu, had Weapon Master as her code name, then, Fu Zhong also has a code name. Earth Burial. His code name is simple but has a deadly meaning, which shouldn't be hard to translate. 5 people are currently observing the seeming pond of white milk-like substance. So, this is the dragon veins, hey. Chu Yueli looked at the small pond curiously, which was no more than 5 meters square. Who would have thought such a small thing could yield tons of pure natural and profound energy? That's what's special about it. Fu Zhong stroked his beard. As long as the planet doesn't die, the dragon veins will continue to expand and yield more energy. Sooner or later, the Earthly Dragon Enclave will become the holy land for cultivation. Dragon veins' energy is like raw food. You can consume it, but you might get sick. That's why we need to refine it first. Even though I have placed several profound gathering array formations all over the Earthly Dragon Enclave, the refined energy is still lower than 30%, which means the rest is unfortunately wasted. Fu Zhong sighed and added, I'm ashamed to call myself a formation master. Stop sugarcoating it. You want my help, right? Yulong rolled his eyes at this drama queen. Oh, how can I ask from the lofty Lord Shadow? Fu Zhong flashed a wide smile. I could only ask for forgiveness for not having enough skill. You're not fooling anyone, buddy. Yun Kanghai was speechless by this fellow. As expected, none of Yulong's subordinates is normal. Yona gazed at the milk-like liquid and dipped her finger before licking it slowly. Master. We need to take a bath here because this milky thing is good for your skin. Chu Yueli. Fu Zhong. Yun Kanghai. Yulong laughed heartily. You guys heard her. Making this pond a bath is also a good choice. Actually, it's a good idea. Fu Zhong said after some consideration. We can turn your bath water into holy water. Okay, stop there, Fu Zhong. You unhinged foggy. Yulong stopped Fu Zhong before he could spout more shits. Yun Kanghai laughed at Yun Long's exasperated look. It was rare to see the monster of a kid get flustered like this. Ha ha ha, you reap what you sow, brat. Even though Fu Zhong was too much, I could understand where he came from. Chu Yueli shook her head helplessly because, from what she knew, Fu Zhong was one of those people Yulong saved at their dying moment. No, it was worse than that. In the early days of Shadow Realm, Yulong visited a war-torn city where corruption dominates. Fu Zhong was just a weak elderly, witnessing the family's humiliating death at the hands of Earth Profound Realm expert. When Yulong found and saved Fu Zhong, his wife, kids, and grandkids were literally mutilated in cold blood. Of course, Yulong tried to save them, but his powers were limited at that age, so he could only save his grandkids. Fu Zhong was thankful for it and became fanatical after Yulong saved his 2 granddaughters. It was such a miraculous sight that changed Fu Zhong's life forever. Fu Zhong's granddaughters are now leading elders of the Lost Heaven sect. They are famous in the Blue Wind Empire and known for ladies of silk and thread. Chu Yueli recalled a pair of young women. Yulong waved his hand at Fu Zhong. Don't even think about making holy water from my body fluid. That's disgusting. If I caught or even heard a wind of you doing something shady, I will throw you to Ani's mouth. Fu Zhong shivered at the thought of Yulong's last words. How could he not fear the 9-knot grim ichthyosaurus? That monstrous being could literally swallow a mountain whole. Understand? Yulong glanced at Fu Zhong. I understand. Fu Zhong put on a bitter look. So, no bath. Yona was disappointed. Yulong gave Yona a helpless look and replied, I didn't say no to the bath, but we should build in another place, preferably near the dragon veins. We can make small channels and dilute the pure energy. But first, I must fix this profound gathering array formation. He rolled his sleeve and walked to the milky pond. Yulong tapped the ground with his hand, causing several white lines to spread on it like a spider web. Everyone monitored Yulong reformed the profound gathering array formation that Fu Zhong painstakingly created and made some adjustments. Yun Kanghai's eyes widened in disbelief. He dabbled a little in the field of array formation, but what Yulong did was beyond logic. Yulong used an unknown formula, arranging the array nodes to the most efficient locations and connecting them using Dragon Vein's natural energy lines. He didn't just fix the array formation. He made it part of the Dragon Veins and cycled the natural energy, allowing 70% of the raw energy to filter automatically into refined profound energy. Yun Kanghai was amazed. But what's he planning with the rest of the raw energy? Don't tell me. Yulong eyed the cave wall on the right and flicked his finger, causing a massive chunk of rock to disappear instantly. That's 50 meters cubic of space, and no quake happened in the process, which left Yun Kanghai's jaws dropped. Hot, steaming water burst out from the newly created space, and everyone had similar thoughts. Hot spring. How could there be a hot spring here? Fu Zhong was puzzled. His geomancy couldn't detect this natural resource. Yulong snapped his finger again, and the ground sunken down in the newly created space, becoming a natural basin with rock formations around it. Soon, hot spring water filled the basin. Let's mix with the Dragon Vein's milky water. The hot spring to milky water's ratio should be 18:2, which is low enough not to make one's body explode. A small crack appeared near the Dragon Veins, allowing a small amount of raw milky water to flow into the basin. And done. Yulong raised his hand on the ground and clapped once to clean the dust. Master is amazing. Yona praised, though she doesn't know anything about array formation. He is. Chu Yueli agreed with Yona. I'm ashamed to call myself a formation master now. Fu Zhong sighed because Yulong had opened his eyes fully. Yulong gave Fu Zhong a weird look and commented, you can still learn more, old man Fu Zhong. Age shouldn't be a limitation for someone to learn. I will compile a book about array formation later. Thank you, Lord Shadow. Fu Zhong couldn't help but become excited. Don't overthink it. The book is your reward for doing well in the past months. After that, Yu Long sealed the bathing area because the hot spring has yet to saturate with the dragon vein's raw energy and return to the earthly dragon enclave. They had to wait for half a day if they wanted to soak inside the basin. Yun Kanghai went to his grandson's room to check his condition and saw him sitting on the bed with Xiao Lingzi. "Grandson, you have to wake up." Yun Kanghai teared up. Yun Che was stunned and awkwardly replied, "Why, you re my biological grandpa?" "Yes, yes. I'm your grandpa." Yun Kanghai excitedly walked to Yun Che. "The Demon King, Yun Kanghai, is your grandpa." "Grandpa?" Yun Che also cried. He finally met his biological family and did not feel abandoned anymore. Yu Long leaned on the door frame with Chu Yueli and Yona, smiling at the sight of a heartwarming reunion. "Well, let's see how the ex-protagonist will develop." "Hee, how ironic. I was thinking of making him my lackey." Chapter 232, The ex-protagonist actually want to be my lackey. Yu Long left the grandfather-grandson pair alone, glancing at Xiao Lingzi on the side. "Young lady Xiao, why don't we leave the earthly dragon enclave for a moment and get some fresh air?" He invited her out of politeness. Xiao Lingzi gets what Yu Long means. She wasn't a dense person. She nodded at Yu Long before quietly following Yu Long. Outside the earthly dragon enclave, Xiao Lingzi breathed in and out freely and said, "Ha! That's much better. I felt like I was going to suffocate underground." "Haha, you will get used to it sooner or later." Yu Long chuckled while leaning on a tree. "Of course, it would be different if you didn't want to enter this side of the world. Living a normal life isn't a bad choice, after all. However, you must become a profound practitioner to live a normal life without problems, young lady Xiao. This cruel cultivation world won't wait for mortals to catch up." Xiao Lingzi put on a weak smile, "I'm trying to. Yet my cultivation talent is not good. The saddest part is that I'm only at the 3rd level of elementary profound realm, even after training for a year. Xiao Che has long surpassed me by training for a few months." Yu Long narrowed his eyes, "I don't think so, young lady Xiao. You have immense talent." Even though Xiao Lingzi has lost her inherent ability and power as the ancestral god's reincarnation, she still possesses the godly ancestral sacred body. Well, 5% of the ancestral sacred body at the very minimum. Even then, no one should be more talented than Xiao Lingzi in this era. The problem lies within Xiao Lingzi's profound veins and her profound arts, which weren't compatible with most cultivation techniques in this era. In fact, Yu Long has asked Shizu about this matter once. According to Shizu, Xiao Lingzi has the potential to reach the true God realm and master the entry-stage law of nothingness, but would never achieve them in her life unless Yu Long extended an olive branch to her by creating a tailored profound art. Yes, Yu Long was the key to Xiao Lingzi's glory. You don't think so? Haha, thank you for the encouragement. Xiao Lingzi blushed sheepishly. She still remembers the day Yu Long and her met at the floating cloud city. Why are you blushing? Aren't you supposed to be the final heroine? Yu Long was stunned by Xiao Lingzi's blush. But then he reflected that the protagonist's status had fallen to his head instead. Yu Long hurriedly checked the karma threads and sighed in relief as he hadn't made any connection with Xiao Lingzi. He gazed at Xiao Lingzi and said, "Young lady Xiao. I can make you cultivate better, but you must promise something." "You can? Young master Yu, I will do anything." Xiao Lingzi was excited. Yu Long smiled and patiently continued, "I need to draw a few drops of your blood and some hairs. After that, I will make a brand new profound art for you. Does that sound good?" Xiao Lingzi's eyes widened, "Be blood? What's the matter? Are you perhaps afraid?" "No. It's just that no one could make me bleed since I was little." "Well, I can." "Wait, that sounds wrong for some reason." Cough. Cough. Yu Long cleared his throat and explained, "I know your body is special, but there is nothing to worry about. I need your consent, and it would be a quick process." "Tea then, please. Be gentle, young master Yu." Xiao Lingzi bit her cherry lips. Yup, those words would definitely raise some brows. Cough. Cough. Yu Long coughed even more because Xiao Lingzi made it as if they were going to do something lewd. He shook his head wryly and quickly prickled Xiao Lingzi's finger while plucking her fine black hair. Sure enough, the small prick on Xiao Lingzi's finger recovered instantly. Yu Long placed her blood and hair inside separate force bubbles, storing them inside the sky poison pearl. "Master! Yona suddenly appeared behind Yu Long. Yu Long and Xiao Lingzi were startled. Of course, for two completely different reasons. Whoa, since when did this lady stand there? Xiao Lingzi was puzzled by Yona's appearance. I didn't notice her at all. Meanwhile, Yu Long was amazed Yona could conceal her presence well enough until 3 meters away from his detection. She walked into his profound sense domain so casually. As if Yona completely erased her existence. Yona pursed her lips and said, Master, you can draw my blood and get a handful of my hair if you want. Yu Long frowned slightly. Oh, are you eavesdropping on us, Yona? That's not a very good thing to do. I'm sorry, Master. Please, I also want to start cultivating. Yona bowed on the ground, disregarding that her robe would get dirted by the soil and mud. Yu Long's mouth twitched. Okay, get up. I will make a profound art for you. Happy now? Yona smiled widely. Whatever. Yu Long felt this responsibility over Yona was heavier than expected. Chu Yueli jumped out of the crack and shouted, Master, it's time for lunch. Fu Zhong has prepared a feast for you. At the same time, they also have prepared the book record of Heavenly Demon Cult's activity over the past months. Well, let's have lunch then. Yu Long nodded with a smile and returned to the Earthly Dragon Enclave again. As Chu Yueli said, Fu Zhong prepared a festive feast for Yu Long and even threw in some specialties of the illusory demon realm. He really wanted to impress Yu Long. Yu Long didn't mind the feast and enjoyed it, frankly. He listened to Fu Zhong's more detailed report about the illusory demon realm and nodded occasionally because the heavenly demon realm was doing well without catching unnecessary attention. However, a few points did make Yu Long frown slightly. You also found the essence spheres in the illusory demon realm. Yu Long repeated Fu Zhong's report. Fu Zhong nodded. The natives of illusory demon realm called it the demonic cores. We found the demonic cores appearing from 16 years ago, making the profound beasts mutate into ferocious creatures. The heavenly demon cult has taken several missions to slaughter the mutated profound beasts and find them much more challenging than they should be. In less than 2 decades, the mutated profound beasts also have given birth to powerful demonic beasts at the sovereign profound realm, and people called them 10 heavenly kings. Although the 10 heavenly kings haven't made any moves and stayed in their domains because of the little demon empress's deterrent force, I assume they plan to do something big soon from my observation. 10 heavenly kings. They sure like to brag with such names. Yu Long chuckled slightly. Fu Zhong, you mentioned several missions earlier. Do you use the mercenary system in the heavenly demon cult? Fu Zhong put on an innocent look. Lord Shadow, the heavenly demon cult also has to earn a living, or else we wouldn't be able to feed 1 million members. When the heavenly demon cult's disciples go out, they will become mercenaries and help people with money as payment. Trust me, everything is as legal as it can be. This method is also good for disciples to gain experience. We are training warriors, after all. Not a bunch of dolls. Yu Long smirked playfully. Don't panic like that, Fu Zhong. I'm not mad or anything. Haha. Fu Zhong chuckled weakly, breaking a cold sweat. He hoped Yu Long was really teasing him and not serious at all. Yu Long shook his head. That's all. Yes, that's all so far. What are we going to do next, Lord Shadow? What else? Gather more of illusory demon realm's natural resources and see if we could use them. Don't think about conquering this continent first because I made a promise with a representative. Representative? That guy named Yun Kanghai. Fu Zhong was speechless. Yup. Yu Long nodded. By the way, he's here. Damn it, Yu Long. Yun Kanghai entered the dining hall with a swagger. How dare you have a feast without me? Behind Yun Kanghai is Yun Che, who looks around the earthly dragon enclave with a curious-looking gaze. Yu Long shrugged. You're busy. I also didn't have time to see you crying while hugging your grandson. Cough. This bastard. Yun Kanghai choked on air. The Demon King sighed and said, Yun Che has something to say to you. Oh. Yu Long glanced at Yun Che. Yes. Yun Che felt everyone's gaze and nervously stepped toward Yu Long. What do you want, Yun Che? Yun Che scratched his cheek and replied, I have a request. It might be shameless, considering we don't know much about each other. My memory about you so far only spans when you went to the Xia mansion and trained Yuan Ba. Yuan Ba would call you boss every day and tell me how awesome you are. I was jealous, but then I realized the gap between you and me. Yu Long, you're an amazing guy. I respect you. So, please. Please teach me how to get stronger. Yun Che bowed with a perfect 90-degree angle. No, please take me as your lackey. Well, well, well. Yu Long thought amusingly. Even the protagonist wants to be my lackey. Chapter 233, The Way of Thunderer. ZZT. Boom. The sound of electricity and thunderclaps permeated the earthly dragon enclave. Two figures danced in the well-lit training cave, flashing their steps with flickering cyan and purple light. Yun Kanghai covered his body with myriad cyan lightning arcs, wielding a sword with his right hand. He slashed the air horizontally with a skillful swing, creating a thunderclap-like noise. Across Yun Kanghai, Yun Che is sweating like no tomorrow. His breathing is uneven, but there are similar lightning arcs around his body, and their colors are purple. You possess the bloodline of my Yun family. Yun Kanghai watched his grandson dodging the sword slash. It means you're profound way attuned to lightning profound chi like me and the rest of Yun family. I've also awakened your profound handle and discovered you have purple profound handle, which is better than my cyan profound handle by 2 grades. With it, you can manifest 70% of your power into reality, creating weapons and even invading your enemy's consciousness. The stronger your imagination, the stronger your projection into reality. Yun Kanghai stomped the ground and caused a massive rock to bounce out before kicking it to Yun Che. Got it. Swoosh. Watching the incoming rock fly at incredible speed and acceleration, Yun Che lifted his left hand hurriedly and focused his will on the profound handle, shaping it into a spear. Crack. Boom. A purple spear appeared and pierced the massive rock, breaking into pieces. Unknowingly, Yun Kanghai appeared behind Yun Che like a ghost and struck him on the back. Yun Che felt coldness in his back and cursed, "She." Bam. Too late, you should assess the situation more. Yun Kanghai said while slamming his fist against his grandson's back. Call it tough love, but Yun Kanghai really needs his grandson to grow stronger quickly. Yun Che got sent flying to a cave wall, coughing profusely. He fell to the ground and felt weak all over his body. What did you do to me, Grandpa? I feel weak. Yun Kanghai smirked. I invaded your profound veins with my profound handle and sealed it. You might not notice it, but my last strike hit your pressure point. This is called the dead strike technique within the Yun family. You must train your dynamic vision using lightning chi to learn the dead strike technique. He gave Yun Che a knowing look and patted his own chest. It would be difficult, but with your grandpa here, there is nothing to be afraid of. Is there a way to unseal the seal? Yun Che asked while feeling too stuffy in his chest. Yun Kanghai nodded. There is. You just need to overwhelm my influence with your profound handle. If it is other people outside the family, all they need is to explode their profound energy inside their body, which is very risky and dangerous, sometimes even resulting in death. Oh, that's why it's called dead point technique? Impressive. A few claps of applause echoed in the cave. Yun Kanghai's mouth twitched. What do you want, Yu Long? Don't you see that we are busy training? Yu Long stood on a higher platform and descended. Training? I thought you guys were playing chase for a moment. Your method is so old school. At this point, Yun Che would only reach the spirit profound realm in a month. You dare look down on me? Yun Kanghai's face darkened. Yu Long waved his hand. I'm not looking down on you. I'm looking down on your training method. To hell. That's basically the same thing. Yun Kanghai really wants to strangle this brat to death. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the power to do so. Amused by Yun Kanghai's constipated look, Yun Long chuckled and continued, I will help you and Yun Che with something. I won't personally help you with the revenge, but who said I can't support you guys? Hehe, do you still remember that copy of purple cloud art you gave me a while ago? Yun Kanghai narrowed his eyes and answered slowly, yes. Is something wrong with my Yun family's purple cloud art? Just you know, the purple cloud art is the fundamental profound art of my family. We have been perfecting it through generations of usages. Unless the current Yun family's patriarch improved it, the one I give you is the best version of purple cloud art in the world. Yu Long nodded, it is a pretty good profound art, I have to admit. Your Yun family's foundation is sufficient. The problem is, purple cloud art favors the usage of profound handle and your bloodline too much. You're limiting yourself within a self-created boundary. A profound art should grow alongside its practitioner, not limiting it. That's why I returned the purple cloud art to the original form without the improvements your family unnecessarily added and found something interesting. You can take my action as disrespectful, but in its purest form, the purple cloud art is divine art. I modified the purple cloud art and created a brand new profound art with the same principles. Why you? Yun Kanghai was speechless. Oh my god! Boss, you're a god! Yun Che finally recovered from his injury and bootlicked over Yu Long's achievement. He couldn't help but praise from the deepest part of his heart. Yu Long didn't bother to speak more nonsense and pulled a book from his spatial storage, throwing it to Yun Kanghai. Try it. Your pride is high, but take this as my little gift. Think of it as a reward for the 4 great sacred grounds' destruction. Yun Kanghai snorted and caught the book. Humph. Who wants this book anyway? Yu Long. Old fart, don't act like a tsundere girl. It's disgusting. Yun Kanghai rubbed the book and read the title, The Way of Thunderer. Thunderer? As in the god who tamed and wielded thunder? Not a bad name for profound art. It sounds menacing and heroic. Let me see. Upon opening the book, Yun Kanghai's focus is literally drawn into the Way of Thunderer's depth and profoundness. Yu Long didn't just make a whole new profound art based on the purple cloud art's purest form. He upgraded it. The principle of this technique is simple yet strict at the same time. Using the Way of Thunderer, one would turn into a living battery of energy charge or pure lightning chi. The pure lightning chi would accumulate and condense into the lightning core, making one the true thunderer. Yun Kanghai sat on the ground and started breathing based on the Way of Thunderer's method, similar to purple cloud art but with more deep variation. Yun Kanghai's profound energy melted in his veins, creating an electric spark that spread all over his body. A normal person would have gotten fried, but Yun Kanghai possessed primordial devil's bloodline and profound handle. He was immune to immense electric charge, except lightning tribulation. Lightning core. Yun Kanghai slowly flowed the electric spark into his heart. Thud. 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 The drum sounds appear from Yun Kanghai's chest as his heart pounded rapidly. What happens to Gramps? Yun Che worriedly asks. Yu Long crossed his arms and answered, The Way of Thunderer's first stage. Drum of Thunderer. One will consense lightning barrier around the heart and become a shield for Thunderer's heart, preventing any mental technique targeted to one's heart. At the same time, the Thunderer will also obtain incredible power from their latent potential, drawing it from their heart and marrow bones. ZZZT. ZZZT. Yun Kanghai's hair stood up, flaring with electricity. Cyan-colored lightning arcs appeared all over his body. His eyes are glowing white, showing no pupils. Finally, a thunder-like mark appeared on Yun Kanghai's forehead and lit up with cyan light. Boom! Yu Long laughed, hee hee, what a good lab rat. The Way of Thunderer is a huge success. We can start the second step. Yun Che, you're next. But boss. Yun Che was startled by Yu Long's wicked expression. Yu Long grabbed Yun Che's shoulders, don't you want to get stronger? Don't you want to meet your biological parents faster? Also, don't you want to get my approval? Yu Long picked the Way of Thunderer book and shoved it into Yun Che's chest, so take the damn book and train. Oh okay. Yun Che nodded weakly. Even then, Yu Long's little speech is very effective because a spark lit up in Yun Che's eyes. It's so good to have a good and willing Rab Lab. Chapter 234, Wielding Thunderclouds, the first encounter with the Heavenly Kings. Rumbles. Rumbles. Thunderclouds surrounded the plain of solitude. For anyone else, it was a sign of bad weather. However, Yu Long didn't think so. To Yu Long, this bad weather is a chance for him to alleviate his profound way. He also planned to use these immense thunderclouds to strengthen Yun Kanghai and Yun Che, making them the true thunderer. Yu Long was on the primordial profound arc, observing Yun Kanghai and Yun Che, who were meditating in the eye of this incoming thunderstorm. With Yu Long on the primordial profound arc are Chu Yueli, Fu Zhong, Yona, and Xiao Lingzi. Chu Yueshan is also on the ship but is still in her epiphany. This will put their willpower to the test. Fu Zhong gazed at the grandpa and grandson pair solemnly. If they couldn't pass this trial, they are not worthy of Lord Shadow's approval. What does that mean? Xiao Lingzi frowned slightly. Chu Yueli smiled and answered, that means Yun Kanghai and Yun Che must show their worth. Young Master Yu Long has shown them more kindness than anyone ever be by creating a new profound art. Such a thing is like a divine treasure in our organization because young Master Yulong didn't create tailor-made profound art for nothing. However, if they failed, young Master Yulong would take the privilege back and deem you unworthy of his work for life. Xiao Lingzi and Yona froze on the spot. They recalled that Yulong promised to make them a profound art. Doesn't that mean Yulong would deem them unworthy if they showed no progress? No, no, no. It is not a good thing. Xiao Lingzi clenched her little fist and thought, I must train with my heart after young master you gave me the profound art. Meanwhile, Yona also made the same vow with a twist, I must train with my heart or master would abandon me. I can't betray his expectations. If Yulong knew what these ladies were thinking, he'd laugh because Chu Yueli has the talent to scare people off. Even though it is hard to make profound art, it's up to Yulong whether he wants to give it or not. Yulong wouldn't expect much from other people. As long as they showed some progress, he's more than satisfied. In fact, Yulong has this mindset because not everyone can take the same path because everyone is different. Yun Kanghai and Yun Che trained the way of Thunderer for 2 hours, but the former focused more on the strength of thunder while the latter focused more on the swiftness of lightning. In Yulong's eyes, their branching is an evolution from choice. Unique to themselves, which could be more sample for him. Rumble. Kaka. In the thunderclouds, everyone could see several serpent-like lightning bolts swim in and out, taunting Yun Kanghai and Yun Che. Yulong smirked and shouted at Yun Kanghai, Elder Kanghai, the next step of the way of Thunderer is to tame the thunder and lightning energy in a natural setting. I will control the thunderclouds and charge your body with it. You have 3 hours. Resist the power of thunder and lightning for 3 hours, and you will become a Thunderer. Got it. Yun Kanghai glanced at Yulong and nodded, yes. Yun Che also stared at Yulong, I'm ready, boss. Yulong snapped his finger, and the thunderclouds rumbled even more. Crack. Boom. The sound of thunderclaps echoed in the plain of solitude. A white light descended. Yun Kanghai and Yun Che couldn't react as thunderbolts hit them. Arg! A painful scream escaped Yun Che's mouth. Yun Kanghai wasn't any better, either. He gritted his teeth and let the fierce energy of thunder ransack through his body. Yulong kept sending more thunderbolts, making him look more like a torturer than a trainer. Even then, Yulong didn't dare to mess up his control over lightning because this kind of power is dangerous with fine control. Yun Kanghai might be a monarch-level expert at the 8th level of the sovereign profound realm, but he is still mortal before the power of nature. The Demon King could still die from these thunderbolts. More so, Yun Che only entered the world of profound practitioners recently. Even though Yun Che was the protagonist, he lost his protagonist halo and couldn't survive from sheer plot armor. He could have died at any moment if Yulong hadn't reduced the power behind these thunderbolts. Boom! 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 Xiao Lingzi covered her face in fright, Xiao Che. She couldn't bear to see Yun Che getting hurt. Crackles. Purple sparks are coming from Yun Che's fried body. He sighed and breathed in, drawing the power of lightning into his weakened vessel. Yulong raised his brow and watched a pair of lightning wings grow behind Yun Che's back. Yun Che's body also changed drastically, becoming leaner with sufficient muscle in good spots. Boom! On the other hand, Yun Kanghai's clothing exploded and exposed his new muscular physique. Unlike Yun Che, however, Yun Kanghai didn't possess lightning wings but 2 cyan-colored lightning horns on his forehead. They really took different paths. Yulong was satisfied. But this is far from over. You guys need to absorb more electricity. And with that in mind, Yulong kept torture. Cough, cough, I mean training Yun Kanghai and Yun Che by throwing more lightning bolts at them. 3 hours later, the thunderclouds dispersed because Yulong had used all the power of nature in them. All left were a pair of grandpa-grandson, who had become true thunderers and were ready for their vengeance. Yun Kanghai stared at the falling strands of his grey hair, which now had become dark blue with faint electricity. This power! I can feel the power of thunder coursing in my veins. One punch, and I should be able to flatten a whole mountain. Ha ha ha! I, the Demon King, Yun Kanghai, have returned. Yun Kanghai laughed excitedly. He glanced at Yun Che and asked, How are you, Che-er? Yun Che played with his lightning wings, fading and appearing into existence in the air, and smiled, felt better than ever, Grandpa. I felt nothing could stop me. Hee, we will meet your father and mother soon. Yun Kanghai said with a grin. Then, we will show those who bullied our family with this newfound power. Yunche nodded in agreement. Yulong floated toward them and commented, as much as I wanted to watch that happening, your current bodies aren't viable to fight. You guys are tired and lose too much vitality from enduring the lightning bolts. For now, take these pills and rest. Yulong threw a vial of pills to Yun Kanghai. Recover your health. After that, we can talk more about the Way of Thunderer. Okay. Yun Kanghai replied calmly. He couldn't show how thankful he was to Yulong. To be honest, Yun Kanghai felt he was indebted to Yulong. Boss, you're the best. Yun Che gave Yulong a thumbs up. Yun Kanghai. This grandson of his really doesn't know how to play cool. We will rest, then. Yun Kanghai grabbed Yun Che by the collar and returned to the earthly dragon enclave. Yulong shook his head helplessly, what a tsundere. However, he helped me in improving the art of thunder and lightning. Yun Kanghai and Yun Che don't know that the Way of Thunderer is a safer version of the art of thunder and lightning that Yulong developed for himself. Well, let's continue to the next problem now. We have some guests. A loud noise came from 3 directions. It was the sound of something massive charging at the plane of solitude. Yulong calmly placed his hands behind the back and watched 3 massive beasts coming. Behind them are 10, if not 100,000, of profound beasts following. Fu Zhong approached Yulong and said, Lord Shadow, these strong profound beasts are the heavenly kings I mentioned before. They must be coming here because of the commotion we made. Yulong rubbed his chin in amusement, let's see. A little bird, a little snake, and a little turtle. After Yulong says that, 3 massive giants overshadow the plane of solitude. Human, hand over the heaven and earth treasures. Or there would be consequences. Yulong chuckled, ah, how adorable. Chapter 235, Heavenly Kings? Nope, you're still far from it. The plane of solitude looks grim. 3 giants of beasts are currently surrounding the plane and closing the area with their beastly subordinates. The sky, land, and even bodies of water were forcibly sealed from entry. A massive hawk with deep green feathers hovered in the sky and swept the white clouds, looking very menacing with a sharp beak, talons, and piercing yellow eyes. And small whirlwinds abided by this winged beast's presence. On the rocky mountain part below, a white-scaled snake over half a mile wrapped around the hillside and hissed at Yulong. Its scales absorb the sunlight and make those crimson eyes stand out more. A giant turtle with a golden shell stood near the lake and covered the area with bubbles. These blue bubbles look harmless at first glance, but none of the 100,000 profound beasts dares to stay near them, as if they possess unimaginable power. Yulong looked at this and chuckled, ah! Look at them threatening us with their auras and cute growls. How adorable! Fu Zhong froze and stared at Yulong with a helpless look. Only a person like Lord Shadow would call 3 heavenly kings of the illusory demon realm adorable. He wryly shook his head and said, Lord Shadow. I will give you a brief introduction of each heavenly king. Go on. Yulong nodded calmly. Fu Zhong stared at the green-feathered hawk. The green hawk is peak sovereign profound beast. It comes from the ghostly windhawk species and is known for its speed and control over tempest. She ruled the heavenly wind valley and was known as the heavenly king of tempest. The giant white snake on the hillside is also a sovereign profound beast. It said that he was the descendant of the solar divine serpent and known for having vicious yang attribute venom and control over burning sky flame. He ruled the vicious poison flame and was known as the heavenly king of burning venom. Lastly, the oldest and wisest turtle. The wise water turtle is not from any prominent species, but enlightened and became a great beast upon meditating for 10,000 years, becoming sage of water beasts. He ruled the great northern pond and was known as the heavenly king of the north. Yulong burst out laughing, pfft. Ha 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 ha. Enlightened? Meditating for 10,000 years? Why don't you tell me he was Buddha instead? Old man Fu Zhong, lying is bad, you know. Yulong patted Fu Zhong's shoulder. Fu Zhong scratched his cheek in embarrassment, I'm just narrating what I've heard about them, Lord Shadow. We can't confirm their origin as the illusory demon realm is a new continent to us. Although some are exaggerated, there is some truth to them. It's fake. Yulong didn't even bother to speak nonsense. Unlike Fu Zhong, Yulong wasn't blind to the fact these profound beasts had swallowed so many essence spheres and mutated beyond the realm of ordinary beasts. What heavenly kings? They are just profound beast with Kaiju's essence and evolved to a higher form. Yulong likes to see how these so-called heavenly kings entertain him. Humans, said the green hawk. There are heaven and earth phenomena. We will not attack you, but you must hand over the treasure birthed by the phenomenon. Hurry up! This king is hungry," added the white snake. "Or else you will become this king's food." The wise turtle laughed gently, "Ho ho ho, calm down, Tempest, Burning Venom, let the humans talk first. You guys are pressuring them." Yulong smiled at the turtle and answered, "We don't have such a treasure." "Liar!" The white snake was the first to yell at Yulong. Yulong shrugged, "It's up to you guys to believe me. In the first place, there is no heaven and earth phenomenon here. It is just bad weather with stormy thunderstorms. Also, you guys are afraid of the stormy thunderstorms, aren't you? If not, you will not come until the thunderstorm dissipates." Heresy! The three heavenly kings gazed at Yulong coldly. Heavenly King of Burning Venom had a killing look when Yulong said they were afraid of the thunderstorm. However, it is the truth. Even though the 10 heavenly kings are peak sovereign profound beasts, they are still mortal before the face of natural force, just like Yun Kanghai earlier. Yulong mocked them, "You guys are just profound beasts who evolved after devouring too many demonic cores. You try to hide this fact so there would be no competition other than the heavenly king, but you can't hide from me. You must be feeling bloated right now, right? You felt every fiber of your body filled with newfound strength. Yet you felt confused because you felt none of these powers were yours." The three heavenly kings were naturally stumped by Yulong's words. Their eyes widened in shock because Yulong somehow knew about their secrets. "You, little bird, obtained the power of Green Shadow Godly Eagle. As for you, little snake, you obtained the power of Solar Silver Python. And lastly, little turtle, you luckily obtained the power of Oceanic Whale Dragon." What? Shocked? Don't tell me you guys are bragging about your origin, and putting fancy titles over yourself makes you invincible. What a bunch of clowns. Yulong shook his head in disappointment. "I will kill you." The heavenly king of Burning Venom lashed. It pounced on Yulong and sent a stream of purple-colored poison. Yulong lifted his left hand casually and purified the poison on the spot, stunning everyone in the area. The large mass of poison just disappeared from their vision. Gasps escaped the mouth of profound beasts above Sky Profound Realm, who had developed sentience as they witnessed their heavenly king's poison become useless before this ordinary-looking human. How could this be? The burning venom is purified. This human. He's not an ordinary human. But how come I've never heard of this person before? The heavenly king of Tempest frowned at Yulong. She felt nothing special about this human, but her instinct screamed not to fight him. Or else she would suffer a fate worse than death. The heavenly king of the north also felt the same. It has nothing to do with his survival instinct, but because Yulong could name the origin of his power, the Oceanic Whale Dragon. Such a beast didn't exist in this world. To name Oceanic Whale Dragon means this human knew something about demonic cores that they didn't know. Unknown to the heavenly king of the north, Yulong was the maker of demonic cores. Facing Yulong is no different than facing the source of their power. The heavenly king of Burning Venom was angered. He hissed at Yulong and threw several boulders at the sizes of small mountains. Yulong stared at the boulders and pointed his finger at them, "Die!" Black light gathered into a sphere on Yulong's fingertip before exploding into a ray of destruction, erasing the boulders into nothingness. Art of Ghost, Ghost Killing Ray. Yulong stretched his hand at Fu Zhong, "Old man Fu Zhong. Lend me a knife." "Okay." Even though Fu Zhong doesn't know what Yulong would do, the detail isn't essential to him. He picked up the standard Shadow Realms dagger from his sleeve and handed it to Yulong. Yulong grabbed the dagger and played it around his fingers. Not bad. "Okay, come, little snake. If you can survive my slash, I will let you live for a few more days." The heavenly king of Tempest. The heavenly king of the north. Fu Zhong. Xiao Lingzi. Chu Yueli. Snake deserved to be cut. Yona nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, the heavenly king of Burning Venom reached the peak anger possible. "You damned human!" he roared at Yulong. After roaring, a bright golden light exploded from the heavenly king of Burning Venom's body and absorbed all sunlight in the area. Great solar explosion. A white beam exploded and rapidly expanded toward Yulong. Yulong pointed his dagger casually and said, "Welp, your funeral." Art of Ghost, Ghost Emperor's Dark Dimensional Slash. A black cloak appeared around Yulong as he slashed his dagger down in the slowest manner. The world simultaneously stopped, making his slow movement faster than even light. The white snake's eyes shrank. No. It was too late. Slash. Boom. A dark curtain over 1 mile long manifested by Yulong's slash, slicing the Heavenly King of Burning Venom in half. One of the 10 Heavenly King has died. Yulong watched the dagger in his hand crumble into dust. Heavenly King? Nope, you're still far from it. Mere profound beasts. You all need to be disciplined like the beasts you are. Chapter 236, New Pets and Demonic Core's Origin. Yulong stared at the handful of dust on his palm and blew them away casually. The dust drifted away like black particles, marking the end of the Heavenly King of Burning Venom. Fu Zhong hovered behind Yulong and watched the ravine created by the slash. He shivered because that wasn't the power of a man anymore. That was the power of a god. As expected of Lord Shadow. He's our god and savior. Fu Zhong thought fanatically. Yulong waved his hand. Sorry, I broke the dagger. I will pay you back later, old man Fu Zhong. Fu Zhong shook his head frantically. No, Lord Shadow. What is mine is yours. It's just a poor dagger. I can get it any time in the warehouse. On the contrary, I felt honored that my dagger can be useful for you. He patted his chest proudly. Yulong smiled because Fu Zhong was overthinking things. Besides his body and some primordial level weapons, he doesn't think any ordinary tool could withstand his power. The problem lies within Art of Ghost's nature, a dark element that devours and consumes energy. Well, the misunderstanding already happened. Yulong glanced at the Heavenly King of Tempest and Heavenly King of the North. What should I do with you two? I'm planning to put you in place. But that would be bullying. Bullying is bad, right? Old man Fu Zhong. Yulong asked with a teasing voice. Fu Zhong grinned. Of course, Lord Shadow. Still, I think bullying is sometimes necessary because some people dare to challenge your order. Heavenly King of Tempest and Heavenly King of the North shivered upon hearing Fu Zhong's words. They have a horrible feeling about this. Yulong nodded and said, very well, then. Hey, little bird and little turtle. I will give you a chance like the one I gave to little snake. Take one of my attacks. And if you are alive, you can go. The Heavenly King of Tempest panicked. No, no, no. Mister, you must be joking. We are just coming here to enjoy the weather. Haha. The Heavenly King of the North coughed. Yes, please don't take your anger on us. Burning Venom's action has nothing to do with us. He's just a fool. Yulong tilted his head and asked, is that so? Yes. 2x. The two Heavenly Kings couldn't help but swallow their saliva. To them, Yulong currently looks and feels like the tallest mountain they couldn't cover. No matter how high they flew or how deep they dug, they wouldn't be able to pass it. Yulong has reason to fight the Heavenly Kings. He wanted to test and see whether the Essence Sphere's influence in their evolution was subpar to the Kaiju evolution. He has seen cases like Freya and Yona, but pure profound beasts who evolved with Essence Sphere are fundamentally different. Yulong grabbed his index finger and pulled a black gold finger bone due to the Great Way of Buddha, which slowly reformed into a one-bladed knife through bone manipulation. Looking at the dark golden bone knife, Fu Zhong was shocked. Fu Zhong could feel an immense power from it. Yulong shook his finger a few times, and new finger bones regenerated, filling up his skin. He tested the bone knife by slashing the air and nodded in satisfaction. As expected, the best material to withstand Yulong's power was naturally his body. The Heavenly King of Tempest and Heavenly King of the North stared at the small bone knife with a grimace. It was such a small knife, many times smaller than their own gigantic bodies, yet they could feel the dread of Grim Reaper's scythe from it. They wanted to run but felt the same fate that the Heavenly King of Burning Venom experienced would fall on them, too. The Heavenly King of Tempest clacked her beak. She knew there was no other choice than to fight. She glanced at the Heavenly King of the North and thought this old turtle should have the same realization. They glanced at each other and nodded. Since they can't run, they must attack first. Yulong watched countless tornadoes and water bubbles appearing in the Plain of Solitude. He smirked because he was very familiar with this sight. How nostalgic! Given 10 more years, they should be able to fuse with the mutated beast's bloodline and become divine beasts. Unfortunately, time is not waiting for everyone, including me. Yulong raised the bone knife and added, let's see if my hunting skill is rusty. Art of Thunder and Lightning, First Stage, Drum of Liberation. Boom. 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 The sound of thunderclaps echoed in the plain. Everyone watched Yulong disappear from his position and suddenly appear before the tornadoes and bubbles. He was moving too fast for their senses to grasp. Even the heavenly kings, who had developed some degree of divine sense, couldn't catch Yulong's movement. Just like thunderstrike. Chu Yueli commented while standing on the edge of primordial profound arc. You only a flicker of light before the drumming sounds of thunder emerge. Is this the real form of the way of Thunderer? Amazing! Yona's eyes gleamed in awe. Is he going to be fine? Xiao Lingzi asked, looking at Yulong's lone figure worriedly. Chu Yueli smiled and confidently answered, even if the blue pole star crumbled, Master will survive. Just look. Yulong gathered the power of electricity in his bone knife and swung it at the incoming storm. Art of Thunder and Lightning, second stage, lightning cutter. Shi-yi-yi-yi-yang. An extreme sharpness and fierce golden electricity sliced through all tornadoes and water bubbles. No way! The Heavenly King of Tempest's eyes widened in shock. Shit! The Heavenly King of the North cursed. Both Heavenly Kings knew they weren't weak. If not, they wouldn't be known as Heavenly Kings. They aren't weak, Yulong is just too goddamn strong. Yulong hovered in the air and froze. Ah, that would be one attack. I only have one attack left. Let's see if I can hit them with one attack. Art of Thunder and Lightning, third stage, Thunder Conqueror. Swoosh! A gigantic, massive avatar appeared behind Yulong, wielding a golden lance of pure electricity. Heavenly King of Tempest. Heavenly King of the North. As Yulong waved his bone knife, the avatar swung its intimidating golden lance, drawing stormy force toward the Heavenly Kings. The Heavenly King of Tempest and Heavenly King of the North glanced at each other again. They nodded in determination and charged at Yulong fearlessly. Yulong grinned in anticipation, but the reality is often disappointing. God Master, please spare our lowly lives. Both Heavenly Kings kneeled before Yulong. Although Yulong is just a minuscule-looking human, both gigantic beasts still show extreme fear while bowing on the ground. Yulong looked down speechlessly. Oi, where is your little pride? I'm just playing around for a bit, and you surrendered already? Yulong snapped his finger, and the avatar behind him stopped its golden lance from killing the Heavenly Kings. He sighed, I will spare your lives. But you have to answer a few questions first. Please ask anything, God Master. The Heavenly Kings answered simultaneously. We, lowly beasts, would answer with the best of our ability. Yulong stared at them and fired the first question, where did you get essence? I mean, demonic cores. This. The Heavenly Kings put on a solemn expression. What's the matter? You don't want me to spare your lives? No, we will answer. Please don't kill us. The Heavenly King of the North buried his face in the ground fearfully and answered with a muffled voice, we usually fished the demonic cores from Star River. Star River? Yulong frowned slightly. The Heavenly King of Tempest nodded like a chicken and continued, Star River is an area in the illusory demon realm. It originated from the Dead Star Lake, a forbidden area. These flowing bodies of water are directly connected to another dimension. And these flowing waters is Star River. We used our profound energy to fish demonic cores from Star River. Oh! Yulong's interest was instantly piqued. Old man Fu Zhong, do you know about these Dead Star Lake and Star River? Fu Zhong scrunched his face, I'm afraid not, Lord Shadow. The Heavenly Kings hurriedly added, God Master, you must possess a key to access this secret area. An outsider wouldn't know because only Heavenly Kings have it. It is our secret. I see. Yulong rubbed his chin. Fine, I will spare your low lives. My little sister needs some new pets anyway. I will call you guys Little Bird and Little Turtle from now on. Thank you, God Master. The Heavenly Kings didn't dare to think about being humiliated by such nicknames. Their lives are worth more than pet names. Chapter 237, Lake that mirror void and river that reflect starry sky. Yulong slowly glanced down at the Heavenly King of Burning Venom sliced corpse and extracted the essence. He couldn't let rare, evolved essence go to waste. Sovereign profound beasts, who had yet to form divine sense, couldn't see what Yulong had done to Burning Venom's body. Yet, the Heavenly King of Tempest and Heavenly King of the North froze upon seeing white and red particles gather into a pinkish sphere on Yulong's palm. It was like a feverish dream to them. However, they knew they were in reality. Did he just The Heavenly King of Tempest shivered. Demonic core. The Heavenly King of the North felt his body fall into a cold lake. Never in their wildest thought had they ever imagined the strong human who tamed them could create the demonic core, something 10 Heavenly Kings fought over for the last 16 years. No wonder. No wonder this human is so abnormal. The power he wields is unlike any other humans they ever faced. Yulong stared at the pinkish marble and ate it, feeling the information of burning venoming flow into his head. Sunlight incarnation, A, acquired. Burning venom snake's physique, S, acquired. Yulong ignored the ringing noises because these abilities weren't good enough for him. They might be able to put the Heavenly King of Burning Venom amongst the Heavenly King's rank, but they were rubbish in Yulong's eyes. Let's see. Yulong engrossed himself in the Heavenly King of Burning Venom's memory. He witnessed many things and finally discovered the Dead Star Lake. A massive lake filled with dark water entered Yulong's vision. At first, he thought the lake was deep, but that's not the case because no living dares to walk into its perimeter. So, a 1 to 200 meters area around the lake is empty. From the Heavenly King of Burning Venom's memory, Yulong learned that any living beings that come in touch with the Dead Star Lake lose their lifespan and age rapidly into a withering mess. Yulong also witnessed the Star River, a flowing water from the Dead Star Lake. The water is still as dark as the latter, but one can see a starry reflection on the dark water. And Star River is safer to touch. One wouldn't lose their lifespan upon touching it. However, safety is not part of it. As the Heavenly King of Tempest said, the Star River is directly connected to another dimension. This other dimension is as dangerous as Dead Star Lake because it has a strong suction force that drowns and pulls you to that dimension. A Heavenly King with strong cloning ability tried to send her clones to this another dimension, but she injured herself instead and lost a portion of her cultivation base. Then, the Heavenly Kings discovered they could fish in the Star River and obtain demonic cores, which could strengthen their genes and blood to evolve. Yulong frowned at the Dead Star Lake and Star River because he might have some guesses on how these places formed. Fortunately, these places exist in a secret realm. The Heavenly Kings are smart to monopolize these places. Yulong rubbed his chin amusingly. He glanced at the little bird and turtle. You guys can transform into humanoid forms, right? Yes, God Master. 2x. The Heavenly Kings answered immediately. Yulong smiled a little. It seems the demonic cores give you wonders, hey. Anyway, order your subordinates to retreat. Your wish is our command. The Heavenly King of Tempest and Heavenly King of the North hurriedly ordered their subordinates to leave the Plane of Solitude. They stared at the massive group of snake-type profound beasts that had lost their leaders and were confused about what to do with them. Yulong saw their confused look and chuckled, Old Man Fu Zhong, you take control of the burning venom snakes. They will be the Heavenly Demon Cult's force from now on. If possible, cultivate the Project Number 7, which we suspended years ago. Fu Zhong's eyes lit up. Are you perhaps talking about the Super Body Initiative, Lord Shadow? Yulong nodded, yes. In the past, I was a bit iffy about this project, but I have the Sky Poison Pearl now. Some poisons wouldn't hurt our members. Then, I will start building the facility. Fu Zhong grinned and flew toward the horde of snakes. He began shouting at them and leading them into the Earthly Dragon Enclave. A million snakes moved like a tsunami and slithered into the Earth Dragon Enclave. Well, what to do with you guys? Yulong focused his attention on the Heavenly Kings again. Let's start with your transformation ability. The Heavenly King of Tempest and Heavenly King of the North nodded with their hearts. They let out a green and blue light, condensing their gigantic bodies into that of humanoid form. The Heavenly King of Tempest transformed into a tribal-looking woman with deep yellow eyes. She wore a feathery coat that stopped by her exposed tummy and a short feathery skirt that exposed her toned thighs. Her dark green hair has some slivers of white, framing her cute yet fierce face. Interestingly, she didn't lose her green feathered wings. They attached to her elbows and made her look like a harpy. Meanwhile, the Heavenly King of the North transformed into a dignified-looking elderly. He was bald yet had a well-maintained mustache and beard. He wore a green tunic robe with an attached golden shell on the back and had shades on. His appearance reminded Yulong of a certain hermit who lived on an island. Compared to the Heavenly King of Tempest, the Heavenly King of the North's transformation is tamer. Yulong looked at them interestingly, well done. Your humanoid transformation is more stable than I thought. I could see that you two have absorbed the demonic core's energy perfectly. But this is far from enough. Little bird, you rank 7th on the Heavenly King ranking. And you, little turtle, are ranked 4th on the Heavenly King ranking. Although you two are better than the little snake, who was ranked 8th, your strength is minuscule compared to the top 3, right? Little Bird and Turtle lowered their heads in embarrassment. They should be mad because Yulong was mocking them, but they didn't dare to. Yulong has every right to criticize their weak strength. Yulong shook his head helplessly. You're wasting a decade and a half just to absorb demonic core's true essence. At this point, you're going to get replaced soon. You think getting the so-called heaven and earth treasure will put you on a higher pyramid system, but here I tell you it would be useless. And we couldn't let that happen. The secret realm you two mentioned will appear in a week. You don't know this, but other heavenly kings have planned some plans. What do you mean, God Master? Little Bird was shocked. Yulong smirked. I have absorbed Burning Venom's memory. From it, I learned that the 2nd and 3rd ranked heavenly kings have planned to kick you guys off by making their children the new heavenly kings. How dare they? Little Turtle was speechless. Far away from the plain of solitude, a gigantic cow lies on the grassland. The cow is muscular with purplish fur and runic characters all over its body. Beside the cow is another gigantic beast. It was a towering bison with curved golden horns and a slightly leaner but menacing body covered with white furs. Honey, it seems the burning venom has died, said the bison with a feminine voice. He got killed in the plain of solitude. The cow opened his eyes and blinked a few times. Are you telling the truth? The bison huffed. Some of my spies in the Tempests group told me. They fought with a human in the plain of solitude. A human? Is it the little demon empress? No, apparently, it was a human boy. The cow's eyes shimmered with golden light. I can't read the atmosphere. We must forward our plan. He glanced back at a peculiar-looking mountain, which seemed alive as a heartbeat echoed inside the rocky area. It's not just one heartbeat, though. 3 heartbeats are coming from the mountains. The cow smiled. Nothing will stop our ambition. The bison smiled back. Our children will be the rulers of this world. Chapter 238, Preparation for Secret Realm. A week later. Yulong stared at the meditating Chu Yueshan on the primordial profound ark's deck and sighed because the aloof maid didn't seem to be exiting her epiphany states soon. However, this is not bad. From Chu Yueshan's dim aura, Yulong could sense the martial intent she grasped was rare and firm. The excellent sharpness and spatial closeness exceed that of ordinary sword intent. Without a doubt, Chu Yueshan will become an expert when she exits her epiphany state. Until that day, Yulong would protect her. When will she wake up, Master? Asked Chu Yueli, who was snacking on pickled radish. She has been eating food that Yona prepared for some reason. Recently, Yona learned how to cook, and Chu Yueli walked forward to test whether they were edible for Yulong or poisonous. Of course, they are just ploys, as Chu Yueli would never let Yona's cooking pass. Chu Yueli found Yona's cooking edible, but are they delicious? No, they taste absolutely horrible. She would never let Yulong taste horrible food. In the beginning, Yulong tasted Yona's food once. He got his tongue taste buds burned for a whole day. That's an achievement no one has ever done. Yulong smiled wryly at Chu Yueli. I don't know. At this rate, it could be weeks, months, and even years. This is one of the wonders about cultivation world. Thankfully, Chu Yueshan's body doesn't need sustenance as long as there is profound energy in the atmosphere. By the way, how were Xiao Lingzi and Yona? You're in charge of teaching them how to cultivate, no? Chu Yueli wiped her mouth and hands clean with a blue handkerchief and replied, they are horrible. I don't know how, but they are inadequate at absorbing knowledge. I explained everything in the most basic form that even kids could understand, but they couldn't understand the simplest breathing sequence. But well, we did make some progress. Xiao Lingzi has reached the 1st stage of True Profound Realm. As for Yona, she has reached the 5th stage of True Profound Realm. Maybe I'm just a bad teacher. She added self-condescendingly. Yulong chuckled, that's not true. You taught some people, and they just came out good. Xiao Lingzi and Yona are special cases, I believe. Unknown to Chu Yueli and Yulong, the problem lies within the profound arts that Xiao Lingzi and Yona cultivate. Yulong has created tailor-made profound arts for Xiao Lingzi and Yona, but they are too profound for them. For Xiao Lingzi, Yulong created Nothingness Sutra. And for Yona, Yulong created Monopole Sutra. Yona can learn slightly faster than Xiao Lingzi because she still possesses the faster running mind of Xian Yu and Yufeng, modified by Pandora. She is like a blank canvas that needs ink. On the other hand, Xiao Lingzi is just a village girl. She doesn't have a formal education about profound way. Do not ever think she would be a miraculous genius just because she was the ancestral god's reincarnation. The truth is uglier than that. After losing her reincarnation status, Xiao Lingzi's only advantage is her sacred physique. Her mind isn't enhanced or anything. Yu Long glanced at the small forest below the primordial profound arc that he made out of boredom. There is a running river and a grassy field nearby, too. On the grassy field is Xiao Lingzi meditating with a heartfelt yet solemn expression. Near the small river is Yona, staring at her blank-faced reflection on the running water. They look depressed, which makes Yu Long feel amused. It's like watching a doe tumble on its step. The struggle is real. Yu Long closed his eyes and heard the sound of thunderclaps from the ground. Well, the grandfather and grandson duo is doing their best on training the way of Thunderer. I can't wait to see their progress. The more they progress, the more reference I could get to improve the art of thunder and lightning. Yu Long actually doesn't need Yun Kanghai and Yun Che's service. But he always expected interesting development from them. Everything can happen in this god-forsaken world, after all. From the corner of Yu Long's eyes, he noticed a green dot approaching the plane of solitude. God Master. Tempest landed on the primordial profound arc in her humanoid form. How was the situation? Yu Long asked calmly. Tempest answered with a dark expression, as you said, God Master. The Heavenly King of Stone and Heavenly King of Song really planned something behind everyone's back. I can't enter their territories at all. They have sealed every channel. One thing for sure, they are ready for their grand plan. What about Little Turtle? Yu Long nodded in understanding. Tempest's dark expression darkened. Old Turtle is doing some random divination. He told me it was to get great luck, but I doubt it. Great luck? Chu Yueli's mouth twitched. Tempest gave Chu Yueli a scary look. Dead Star Lake and Star River are dangerous places. And that old turtle is overcautious as fuck. You wouldn't see him coming out of his damn shell without defensive treasures. Well, he's a turtle. Yu Long couldn't help but comment. The Heavenly King of the North was busy preparing stuff in his territory and suddenly sneezed. The turtle cursed because someone was talking behind his back. Tempest huffed and continued, the Secret Realm's opening will open in 12 hours. The Heavenly Kings have moved, except for me, Old Turtle, and that monster Greed. Greed. Yu Long frowned slightly. The Heavenly King of Greed is the first ranked in the Heavenly King ranking. Tempest and Old Turtle didn't know where he was coming from. Not only that, but they also don't know what species he was. All they knew about the most mysterious Heavenly King was that his body consisted of scale-like obsidian armor and a red misty aura. Sometimes, they saw claws, wings, and an extra pair of eyes, but that's it. Heavenly King of Greed is immensely strong. He could solo the rest of Heavenly Kings alone, which left them confused about why he didn't take over the illusory demon realm for himself. Where is the Secret Realm's opening? Yu Long was curious. Although he has devoured the Heavenly King of Burning Venom's memory, some old memories weren't actually in it. Yes, including the Secret Realm's location. Tempest pointed at the east, there. Yu Long and Chu Yueli stared at the area but found nothing there. There are only mountains, forests, and obviously the faint blue sea. Where? Chu Yueli tilted her head in confusion. Tempest laughed, you can't see with naked eyes, but that entire area will become a completely different world in 12 hours. The mountain will become volcanic, the forests will become barren lands, and the ocean. Well, it is the Dead Star Lake. No way. Chu Yueli was shocked. She has seen and read many bizarre events, but this is her first time learning such an event could happen. Yu Long stared at the empty distance, a domain. But to cover all those areas, the domain must be energy-consuming. This only happens twice a year according to Burning Venom's memory. That's once every 6 months. A normal secret realm would have a longer cooldown period, yet this one opens frequently. For example, Heaven Basin Secret Realm. This secret realm cannot be this cheap. Not, it was too inviting as if asking people to find it. This. Yu Long stared at the bright sun in the clear blue sky. Chapter 239, The Haughty Little Empress. An unknown place. A smoldering creature cried in the burning star. Again. Not again. God, when will you hear my prayer? I have been hurting myself 32 times, opening the sky for you. Yet here I am, waiting for your light. I'm going to break the sky for 33rd times, even if I had to pay it with my life. The creature roared at the void and caused multiple explosions. Boom! Crack! Cracks appeared in the air as if they were poorly made of glass. Flickering candlelight flashed in the area, and they vanished, leaving nothing but a silent void. Blue Pole Star, Illusory Demon Realm. On top of a mountain, two figures are staring at a particular spot. Yulong waited for the secret realm to open and calculated something in his mind. He kept rubbing his chin as if in deep thought, making Chu Yueli curious about what he was thinking of. Chu Yueli feels this secret realm has a connection with her master. Call it her woman's intuition, but something as absurd as dimension alteration in a place like this with domain's power means one word. Kaiju. Yes, Kaiju. Chu Yueli believed the secret realm was truthfully caused by one of Yulong's kaijus. The problem is that Chu Yueli doesn't know how powerful this kaiju is. Chu Yueli couldn't imagine how strong a monster could be to alter dimensions like this. What? Yulong felt Chu Yueli's gaze. Chu Yueli smiled, nothing. What do you think of the illusory demon realm so far, master? Yulong stared into the distance, better than profound sky continent. Really? Although the profound sky continent is overall stronger, something I like about the illusory demon realm is the fact all races live together in harmony. They embrace their differences and cultures, becoming strong together. Unfortunately, the unity won't last long if the ruler of the illusory demon realm doesn't lead things straight. The death of the Demon Emperor and Little Demon Emperor is an unfavorable disadvantage. If I had to guess, the illusory demon realm would fall into chaos soon. I don't know when, though. It could be tomorrow, next week, next month, or even next year. One thing for sure. The storm is brewing. Yulong sighed deeply. Truthfully, Yulong believed the chaos in the illusory demon realm would be more than Pandora had ever done to the profound sky continent. Pandora is the epitome of chaos, yes. Yulong wouldn't deny that. However, what's coming after them in the illusory demon realm is more challenging, depending on how Yulong faces it. At the same time, two silhouettes stayed on opposite sides of the secret realm. The first silhouette is actually a giant toad with wrinkled yet glowing golden skin hugging a massive tree. The other silhouette is a 14-year-old girl with black hair and an exceedingly beautiful and delicate face. Her hair was very long and grew all the way to below her hips. It was as pitch black as a starless night. Her skin was as snow white and soft as a newborn baby's. It was like jade, pure and smooth without blemish. Her snowy shoulders, slender waist, small buttocks, and even her moderate breasts are charming. She wore a purplish-black dress and dark veil, framing her beauty to the peak. Heavenly King of Gold. The young lady opened her pretty red lips and uttered coldly. When will the secret realm open? Are you perhaps wanting to trick this empress? The golden toad broke a cold sweat. Empress, I didn't dare to think such a thing. I already told you that the secret realm won't open until the sun reaches its peak. The young lady indifferently pursed her lips. Demonic cores. Remember, your life is in my hands. Yes, yes, I know. The golden toad couldn't help but sigh helplessly. Don't look down on this cold young lady. She might look young, but her name is literally feared and worshipped in the illusory demon realm. Aside from her ethereal beauty, which makes her known as the #1 beauty on the continent, people also called her the most tyrannical ruler in this era. The Heavenly King of Gold was amazed at how he was bitterly bound by such a terrifying figure. No wonder the 10 heavenly kings couldn't conquer the continent. This little empress is too powerful. But this also makes the golden toad confused. Why did this arrogant little empress look more desperate than anything? The young lady swayed her body away, gazing at the mountain range far, far away. She clenched her little hand tightly, feeling extreme heat rising through her body again. I don't have much time left. The Demon Emperor's seal has disappeared in the profound sky continent, and my only chance is the divine-grade demonic core. She thought solemnly. If I could get my hand on the demonic core, I might be able to calm down the Golden Crow's bloodline. I believed there was a huge possibility of me getting a more stable and stronger bloodline like the other heavenly kings. If they could reach monarch level in a mere 16 years, then I can become a god with demonic cores. Unknown to the cold empress, her entry to the secret realm would be the luckiest encounter she had in her whole life. On the corner of a lush forest, the Heavenly King of Stone and Heavenly King of Song gathered under an ancient tree. The Heavenly King of Stone carried a lump on his back, making him look weird. This lump is his secret trump card in the incoming Secret Realms opening. Have you learned about the human who killed Burning Venom? The Heavenly King of Stone asked his wife. The Heavenly King of Song shook her head weakly. Tempest and the Old North have sealed all information. They even killed the spies I planted in their forces. One thing for sure. We can expect him to appear in the Secret Realm. After all, killing Burning Venom grants him the key to enter the area. Stone, honey, do you think he would be a problem? The Heavenly King of Stone grimaced. I don't know. My ability can't read the lines of this mysterious expert. How is that even possible? Your ability is the strongest after the greed monster. My ability is strong, but it's not absolute. It has a flaw. And I hope the flaw is not too big. The other heavenly kings also gathered around the secret realm and saw a blinking light falling from the sky. They braced themselves and were ready for the fight. Back to Yulong. He stared at the falling star in the middle of the day and smiled. So, it is you, Hui. As expected, things are going to be chaotic. Yueli, is everyone ready? Yulong glanced back. Chu Yueli nodded, our force is ready. Well, let's enter the secret realm, shall we? As the falling white star descended the atmosphere and touched the ground with silent sound, an invisible barrier surrounded the mountain, forest, and a small portion of the sea. Let's go. Yulong and his people quickly reached the barrier and entered a completely different world. Yulong watched the dimension transforming rapidly, leaving little to no imagination on how it actually works. But Yulong knows the truth. Wait, where is everyone? Yulong exited the deep thought and realized he was the only person in the area. He looked around and found himself in an underground cave that led to a white light. Yulong frowned and mumbled, "Don't tell me you're playing around right now." He walked along the path and kept his profound sense active. He reached the end of the path and arrived at a creepy-looking, tube-shaped hall with statues on the walls and an altar in the middle. A flash of golden light appeared in the corner of Yulong's eyes. It was a petite young lady in a purplish-black dress. Yulong couldn't see her face because she wore a dark veil, which seemed to be a profound artifact. You stare too much. The young lady coldly stared at Yulong. Come here and kneel before this empress. Pardon. Yulong was speechless. He didn't expect this at all. Chapter 240, Narcissistic and Proud. Pardon. Meeting the cold gaze of this haughty-looking girl, Yulong was honestly speechless. Was his gaze that offensive? Damn, girl. You're so narcissistic. I won't repeat myself, said the veiled young lady. Yulong shrugged and ignored her. He walked to the altar, examining it with a careful gaze. The veiled young lady couldn't believe her eyes. This guy. He actually dares to ignore this empress. She was shocked for the first time in a decade. Not many people could ignore the prestige that she had built. Unless... Yes, unless this guy has no idea who she was. The veiled young lady frowned and questioned coldly, "You, who are you? How did you enter the Demon Star secret realm?" From the front door. Yulong answered while waving his hand as if her question was dumb. The veiled young lady was speechless. There is no door. You're not fooling anyone here. Yulong injected his profound energy into the altar and triggered changes in the hall, causing the statues in the walls to move. The creaking sounds echoed, giving a sense of dread. Weird. Yulong rubbed his nose. The altar doesn't work with hidden mechanisms, but more of sorcery. Hey, rude girl. Destroy one statue for me. The veiled young lady grimaced. Me? A rude lady? Watch your mouth, imbecile. Also, how dare you order this empress? You deserve a fate worse than death. Geez, calling yourself empress is cringe. Yulong dug his ears lazily, which confused the veiled young lady further as she didn't know what cringe meant. The statues brandished their weapons and surrounded Yulong and the veiled young lady. Although Yulong couldn't detect any life force from these rock statues, he could confirm their strength based on the material used. They are around the middle stage of Tyrant Profound Realm. Swoosh! One statue rushed toward the veiled young lady, swinging a rock sword at her. A wisp of golden light appeared in the veiled young lady's snowy hand, and the statue exploded into pieces, scattering with sizzling noise. Yulong raised his brows, golden and heat. There is only one figure who wields this kind of power. Don't tell me this girl is. Unknown to the veiled young lady, Yu Long has guessed her identity but decided to stay quiet about it. His gaze focused on the sizzling rocks and spotted a faint line connected to the altar. Whoosh! A ball of green flame burst on the hall's wall. There are 33 platforms, which matches the number of statues, and one is hosting the fireball. The veiled young lady also noticed this and blasted another statue into pieces, triggering the same green fireball. Destroy more! Yu Long commented loudly. Don't order this empress around. The veiled young lady coldly replied, yet still proceeding to destroy more statues. After destroying them all, Yu Long noticed the slight hike in the veiled young lady's body temperature. It was abnormal as she didn't use any heavy moves. Her step is graceful and light. Her method of blasting the statues is also a simple energy blast with concentrated heat. Compared to other profound practitioners, Yu Long found her fighting method simple yet efficient. Still, it doesn't explode as the body temperature rises. Hey, is there something wrong with your body? Yu Long blurted casually. The veiled young lady froze on the spot before responding, none of your business, dead weight. Calm down, I'm just asking. Yu Long smiled slightly. You're so sensitive. Like that frail body of yours. At first glance, there is nothing wrong with the veiled young lady. However, Yu Long could see more than ordinary eyes could. Even without Kaiju Maker, he could tell the veiled young lady's bloodline was rampaging due to the nature of her birth. It's like putting burning lava inside a container made from fragile glass. The container was bound to crack and melt after so long. The veiled young lady would be better at cultivating the frozen cloud arts. It would be perfect for her constitution. Alas, the veiled young lady was born and raised in the illusory demon realm with an aggressive bloodline that was the very opposite of Ice Phoenix. Yu Long shook his head. How unfortunate, indeed. Since the veiled young lady is proud and stubborn, Yu Long likes to see how long she lasts. Of course, Yu Long would offer a hand when she couldn't handle the heat anymore. That's up to her, though. Looking at how she treats Yu Long like nothing but a burden, she probably won't accept his help. Well, we will see about that. Yu Long smiled mysteriously and couldn't wait to see this proud young lady melt her facade away. 33 green fireballs lit up their respective platforms. Yu Long looked down and saw a gap in the floor, which looked like an energy pathways from the platforms to the altar. The energy pathways lit up, causing the altar to tremble. The veiled young lady walked closer to the altar. She snorted at Yu Long and focused her indifferent gaze on the altar. As the altar transformed, all that was left was a basin of water. It's not your ordinary water, obviously. A green liquid is stored in the basin, gleaming with golden luster. Yu Long couldn't recognize the liquid, but the veiled young lady could. Gasp! A surprised gasp escaped the veiled young lady's mouth. Evergreen trees do. The veiled young lady mumbled in disbelief. I thought it was just a myth. Evergreen trees do. Yu Long was confused. The veiled young lady coldly sneered at Yu Long, of course, a dead weight like you wouldn't know. Evergreen tree is a mythical existence. A myth said that everything about this tree could create a miracle. The branch of evergreen tree could become divine weapon. The leaves of evergreen tree could become a divine tea that could help one understand martial path faster. The root of the evergreen tree has a medicinal effect that strengthens one's body into that divine weapon, though the method is unknown. Evergreen tree's dew is the condensation of tree's sap. It has a similar effect to curing any disease and letting one obtain an evergreen immortal physique. It took centuries to make a drop fall, yet there is so much in this basin. She continued solemnly. Just how long it took to gather this much evergreen tree's dew? Immortal physique, hey? That sounds impressive. Yu Long honestly praised. The veiled young lady clicked her tongue in annoyance. What do you know about immortal physique? You're just a freeloader. Well, Miss knows everything. Yu Long chuckled heartfully. Why don't you drink this shady dew and let me see how impressive the evergreen immortal physique was? The veiled young lady obviously wanted to do that. Unfortunately, evergreen trees dew needs a proper procession with an alchemic technique before consumption. And her knowledge of alchemy is low. She worried her poor attempt to process it would waste the dew's efficiency. The veiled young lady nastily stared at Yu Long. Do you know alchemy? Well, I'm something of a master alchemist myself. Yu Long grinned while puffing his chest. Okay, stop lying. The veiled young lady was disgusted. Just say if you can do alchemy or not. I could have blasted you right now. Yulong glanced at the evergreen tree's dew and confidently replied, I can. It's not hard to refine this liquid. It's just water with extreme vitality, that's it. The veiled young lady was unsure of Yulong's ability but couldn't do anything about it. She gritted her teeth and said, if you can refine this liquid, I can give you 10% of it. 60. Yulong bargained hard. The veiled young lady furrowed her brows, 20%. 70. Yulong teased her. Don't test me, dead weight. Or you will regret it. The veiled young lady was furious. Yulong doesn't care, I can guarantee less than 30% loss, but give me half. Half. The veiled young lady's expression darkened. She thought of pros and cons before deciding. Fine. You can get half of the refined dew. Hehe, as easy as taking candy from children. Yulong thought at the back of his mind. Well, let's start. Yulong placed his left hand over the evergreen tree's dew and used his cheat tool. Sky Poison Pearl. This heavenly treasure can purify nearly everything in the primal chaos, including medicinal treasures like evergreen tree's dew. The veiled young lady definitely didn't see this coming.
Thanks for listening.